How are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to the Sean Atwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. We are live with our first episode of Coffee, Crime, and Conspiracy Theories. Let me know how the microphone's sounding, because it sounds really, really weird where I am. And my hair is... It's on one. It's on one today. But listen, that's the way it goes. Apparently, we have our own Sky Shinary. It's kind of the same thing as Rwanglish. Okay? So, I hope everyone is doing well. I don't know if you saw Sean's live stream from just before this show. Really interesting individual. What's happening, Chris? What's happening, Sky? What's happening, Shane? What's happening, KLG? A Muslim guy who was arrested for supporting Tommy Robinson. He had some really interesting takes. Some spicy takes, but it was a good interview, I have to say. Now, this show, okay, this show is all going to be about looking at true crime, drinking coffee, talking about theories about said true crime. And the first one today is mad, right? And we're going to jump in with a little bit of a educational section. And this is who we're talking about, Brendan Kavanagh. And we'll just have a little read through this. Brendan Kavanagh, also known as Dr. K, due to his PhD in English, is a British pianist and piano teacher of Irish descent. He specializes in playing and promoting boogie-woogie genre, almost exclusively improvised, often combined with classical jazz, blues. Okay, so he's also been one of these guys that goes around you'll have seen these in like train stations and stuff, right? Here's a photo here. Here's another example here. But in Scotland, here's another example here. They kind of threw a bunch of pianos into train stations, and it's become this weird kind of culture in the UK where you'll get YouTubers or really professional pianists who'll go to these stations and put on little gigs, put on little concerts, whatever. And there's one in every single train station that I use. And where does this story go? Where is the meat here? Well, about a week or so ago, Brendan had posted. And it was one of our viewers who pointed this out to me. He had done a video called Watch First, Context of Arrest, right? And we're going to watch through this video, and then we're going to sort of take apart what we've seen. Because this, if you don't know this one is going to blow your socks off. Truly unforgivable tactics by the church. Now, we're going to watch through this. It's going to make a little bit more sense once you get to know Brendan a little better, okay? And I sip on my coffee. He was harassed by the Chinese... Is it that guy? Is that the Chinese Communist Party guy? Hang on a second. Because I remember that. And if so, that's a lovely little tidbit for after our main section. It was definitely one of the pianists. Let's find out. Let's just find out. Oh man, he puts up way too much content. Hang on a second. Oh man, it was him. I did not realize it was this guy. So yeah, man, like this is a whole other conversation, but wild, right? Absolutely wild, right? So yeah, this guy. It's this guy. So let's jump into this video, okay? What is happening, KLG? Thank you so much. Why is that all over my face though? What just happened there? There we go. So why are we not getting notifications? Okay, do you know what? That's for future Ron to deal with. That is not for current Ron to deal with. I look rough, by the way. Apologies. Right, let's jump into this. Let's try and fix this camera a little bit as well. We'll figure that out later. Now, let me know if there's any echo. If you guys are hearing anything other than perfect sound, please let me know, because it's the first stream in the mini setup, and it's exciting times. It's exciting times. Now, please like, share, help me push this out. This show will start at 11 a.m. UK time, Monday to Friday. We're back tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock. We've got John Wedger tonight. There's a second afternoon show that I'm working on right now. And this show will have guests, it'll have panel members, it'll have the Discord community, and all the rest of it. And here we go. Now, let me know. In fact, if the mods can just let me know if the sound is okay. I'll mute myself on here, but let me know if you guys can hear this.
To give a little preamble video to give you a bit of context as to how it came about that both myself and my wife were arrested at our property in front of our 3 traumatized children by 6 police officers, because I think this story is a parable about.
Also, I meant to say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this play through. Then we're going to go back and play through it where I'm going to stop it and we're going to discuss parts and all of that, just so that we know.
Everything that's wrong with the police and everything that's kind of wrong with our culture. Because this should never, ever have happened. Anyway, to cut a long story short, this is what happened. We have a chapel on our property, a Catholic chapel. Priests are difficult to come by, particularly those who say the traditional Latin Mass, and we have Mass about once a month. When we can find a priest, okay. So we were recommended a priest by a good Catholic family who had the support of a bishop who we had known for 15 years. We didn't know this priest, but on those recommendations, we accepted him to come and say Mass at our chapel. Now, before he came to our property, he had some strange preconditions, like he insisted on complete secrecy, that no one should know his name. He wouldn't tell us who ordained him, and it was a little bit weird that he should have all these preconditions, but I agreed to them because I wanted to have Mass in the chapel, and he had been recommended. And so we welcomed him in good faith. However, during the course of the day, there were loads and loads of red flags about this guy. He did not ring true at all. First of all, you have a parent's intuition. You had the desire for secrecy. Several things he was saying were completely off, and things did not add up. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the guy left, the fake priest, we shall call him, and we heard that he had been going around and was going around to families offering to say private masses, particularly for families with children. And so I decided to do a little bit of digging, because we didn't even know who had ordained him and where he had been working. We found out he had been working on the island of Martinique, the Caribbean island of Martinique, for the official Catholic Church. And so I sent a reference request, just for our own satisfaction, about this priest to see if they knew anything about him, because he was a bit of an enigma and there were loads and loads of red flags. I said, do you know anything about this priest? Who is he? Is he a priest in good standing? Have you heard of him? And then we completely forgot about it. Moved on with our lives, until about 3 weeks later, I received a bombshell of an email from the Archdiocese of Martinique, an official email from the official Catholic Church, saying that this priest had been laicized or defrocked due to child abuse, and obviously should not have been operating as a priest. Now, my first response was anger, because this priest had access to my children, who are all 14 and under. He had heard their confessions, and I was really angry. Any parent would be angry at this. And so I took the official document saying that he had been laicized or defrocked due to child abuse, and I forwarded this document to his direct superior, the bishop, who had recommended him. And this bishop we had known for 15 years. His response was to block me. Right? I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. And I thought he was going to say, "Oh, right, we're going to do a thorough investigation. We'll take him out of public ministry. This needs to be..." No, he blocked me. So then I proceeded to send emails to the bishop and to this priest, asking for a response. What's going on? What's your, what's going to be done about this guy? He's going around to families, celebrating mass. He's still in public ministries, despite having been laicized due to child abuse. And I sent several private angry emails, both to the bishop and to the priest, saying, what is going on? This is a safeguarding issue, right? This priest should not be in public ministry. And this is where it gets really, really weird. I forgot all about it. I had no response from the bishop, anything, nothing, heard nothing. Forgot about it. We tried our best. And this is where it gets really, really weird. Apparently, Father Fake, let's call him Father Fake, with the support of this bishop, took my private angry emails, justifiably angry emails, to the police, I believe in London, and showed them my emails and reported me and my wife for harassment as a result of my private emails, both to the bishop and this priest, And I was genuinely angry, but these were private emails. Have you ever sent a private email that's angry? And that's what led to the police coming around and arresting me and my wife in front of my children. Now, this beggars belief. This whole case beggars belief, but I'll leave it to you to make your own mind up. But that is the preamble, what led to this arrest. A complaint.
All right. So, quite a mad story. And when we start breaking down the details and we start sort of pulling hairs, if you will, which I think is important that we do that. That's why we're going to watch through this again, and we're going to take some notes on this. And Chris, yeah, you've picked up on one of the key factors here, right? He gets arrested for harassment. Now, in any sane world, you'd be thinking that the police would be more concerned with a bishop who is recommending a defrocked priest, especially to somebody who is known for over a decade. It's wild. Now, let's just go back to this, and I just want to take some notes and go through this. Because, how are we doing, Linda? I think for a lot of us, we're going to be sort of in a bit of disbelief here. We're talking about a convicted, nasty priest, defrocked or derobed or whatever the hell it's called. Sorry, my hair is on one. How is it we live in a world where Brendan is the one getting arrested? It just blows my mind. Anyway, so I want to take some notes. I'm going to dive into these.
Guys, Dr. K here. Hope you're keeping well. Now, I just wanted to give a little preamble video to give you a bit of context as to how it came about that both myself, this story is a parable about everything that's wrong with the police and everything that's kind of wrong with our culture, because this should never, ever have happened. Anyway, to cut a long story short, this is what happened. We have a chapel on our property, a Catholic chapel. Priests are difficult to come by, particularly those who say the traditional Latin Mass, and we have Mass about once a month. When we can find a priest, okay. So we were recommended a priest by a good Catholic family who had the support of a bishop who we had known for 15 years.
Okay, so a good Catholic family, okay, who had the support of a bishop they had known for 15 years.
We didn't know this priest, but on those recommendations, we accepted him to come and say Mass at our chapel. Now, before he came to our property, he had some strange preconditions, like he insisted on complete secrecy, that no one should know his name. He wouldn't tell us who ordained him, and it was a little bit weird that he...
Do you know when you watch an episode of that show Catfish, right? And the person who's been catfished is being asked questions like, "Oh, have you ever video called?" And they're like, "Well, they always tell me there's something wrong with their camera, or that, they haven't paid their light bill this month and the bulbs don't work." And you're like, "Come on. This is the catfish version of this is the priest version of this. You know, hey, bro, don't ask any questions, bro. Trust me, bro. Everything's fine. It's wild. Total secrecy, right? Don't ask where I was ordained. Is that what he said? Which seems like quite a crucial thing. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like knowing where your priest was ordained and the full back catalogue of priestiness of said priest. Yeah, red flag. That's a better way of summarizing it. Yes. Anyway, let's continue.
Should have all these preconditions, but I agreed to them because I wanted to have mass in the chapel, and he had been recommended, and so we welcomed him in good faith. However, during the course of the day, there were loads and loads of red flags about this guy. He did not ring true at all. First of all, you have a parent's intuition. You had the desire for secrecy. Several things he was saying were completely off, and things did not add up. Anyway, to cut a long story short, the guy left, the fake priest, we shall call him, and we heard that he had been going around and was going around to families offering to say private masses, particularly for families with children. And so I decided to do a little bit of digging because we didn't even know who had ordained him and where he had been working. We found out he had been working on the island of Martinique, the Caribbean island of Martinique, for the official Catholic Church. And so I sent a reference request just for our own satisfaction about this priest to see if they knew anything about him, because he was a bit of an enigma and there were loads and loads of red flags. I said, do you know anything about this priest? Who is he? Is he a priest in good standing? Have you heard of him? And then we completely forgot about it. Moved on with our lives until about 3 weeks later, I received a bombshell of an email from the Archdiocese of Martinique, an official email from the official Catholic Church saying that this priest had been laicized or defrocked due to child abuse and obviously should not have been operating as a priest. Now, my first response was anger, because this priest had had access to my children who are all 14 and under. He had heard their confessions, and I was really angry. Any parent would be angry at this. And so I took the official document saying that he had been laicized or defrocked due to child abuse, and I forwarded this document to his direct superior, the bishop, who had recommended him. And this bishop we had known for 15 years. His response was to block me. Right? I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. And I thought he was going to say, oh, right, we're going to do a thorough investigation. We'll take him out of public ministry. This needs to be... No, he blocked me. So then I proceeded to send emails to the bishop and to this priest asking for a response. What's going on? What's your... what's going to be done about this guy? He's going around to families, celebrating mass. He's still in public ministries, despite having been laicized due to child abuse. And I sent several private angry emails, both to the bishop and to the priest, saying what is going on. This is a safeguarding issue, right? This priest should not be in public ministry. And this is where it gets really, really weird. I forgot all about it. I had no response from the bishop, anything, nothing, heard nothing. Forgot about it. We tried our best, and this is where it gets really, really weird. Apparently, Father Fake, let's call him Father Fake, with the support of this bishop, took my private angry emails, justifiably angry emails.
All right. So the last part is really just about the bishop using emails against him to police. Now, we've got the footage. How we doing, Mandy? How we doing, Angus? How we doing, Kaza? What's happening, everybody? Who else is snuck in here like a little sneaky sneakerson? Sarah, what is happening? Valley Girl, Nikki, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening? So, we know the story up to this point, right? So, Brendan has a chapel on his property, right? Catholic Church. He wanted to do a Latin Mass. And was looking for someone to recommend a priest, okay? And what better place to go than to friends who are part of the church, or even better than that, a bishop who you've known for over a quarter of a century. It couldn't be any better, right? You couldn't have a more trustworthy foundation for that decision-making process, right? Obviously, I'm pretty sure Catholics who are of Irish descent, and many Catholics, will kind of know there's a bit of a stigma, right, going around priests, okay? And you would want to do your due diligence. You would want to make sure that you've got layers of protection on that decision-making process, which I think he done. You know? I think that's what he done. And let's get into it. So, total secrecy. Sure, I'll come and do mass, just don't ask any questions. I think for most of us, that would send alarm bells ringing. But here's the thing. Like, if just imagine, just picture in your head, not your best friend, but someone you trust and you've known for over 10 years, right? Family member, whatever. And then imagine you've got them involved in a decision-making process like this. You're kind of going to assume, oh, the secrecy, there must be something. There's got to be something behind this. My friends are recommending them. You're in a place of comfort, especially when you've asked friends, this family, and then they've recommended Archbishop, who also turns out to be someone you know. Those are multiple layers of safety nets in your head. So you can see maybe where he would write off the secrecy as something, you know, if his friends are backing them up and he's got this confirmation that he is who he says he is. It's dodgy. Not asking where he's ordained, red flags, parents' intuition. He starts talking about all these things. And to then find out that this guy's going around offering private sessions. What was the word he used for? Private masses to families with children. Makes the whole situation a lot more concerning, a lot more worrying. But you would think that is where the story becomes blatantly obvious and comes to a conclusion. Bad guy gets found out, bad guy gets arrested, bad guy goes to jail. But in Brendan's case, the opposite happened. We have 6 police officers turning up at his property. And the next thing we're going to watch is the footage from the security cameras outside Brendan's house that captured his arrest. It's like 20 minutes long, so we're going to skip through parts. Evan, I've no idea, mate. It's a spicy one right now. The whole world has gone a little bit Pillsbury Doughboy. If you don't mind me saying. And it's true. So you can see this guy's property, nice bit of land, decent little life going on here. And also a big shout out to, I think it's pronounced Cihan, Cihan, I think the person's name is in the side chat. This was the person who put me onto this case last week. And sadly, it's just been one thing after another since then. Right, let's see what's going on
You
here.
see me there looking out rather. And then suddenly a second car comes in. That's me there walking across. That's Lorraine. And then a van. That's myself and that's my wife.
100%. This is a great use of police resources, especially when we are with a government that is so lackluster that we need a national inquiry into the way that certain GG gangs have been handled, the parents, the children, the absolutely two-tiered police system. You can say what you want, okay, but this country, there's a lot of things I can't say. Let's carry on.
You thought, what is going on? So then you can count the amount of officers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm standing over there. I think it's about 6 officers there. And
also, there's a fun game. There's a fun game I want us all to play called How Many Officers Are Over the Age of 21? Okay. So you'll usually have one clearly looking adult officer, right? And then what's going on? Who are these guys? She looks about 17. He looks about 17. She looks about 7. What is going on?
I'm standing there, right down there. That's me. They tell me that I'm under arrest.
Man.
And I'm confused. I don't know. They put me in handcuffs. You can see them there putting me in handcuffs. They take my phone and they surround me. And also Lorraine has been taken off. Unfortunately, it's not on the footage because it's off camera. She also is arrested and handcuffed. And
keep in mind, this is for reporting to the, you got to understand. This is for reporting. In fact, wait, what was this for? So this is for the emails that he has sent in response to the Archdiocese of the Caribbean, Martinique, informing him that the priest that the Archdiocese who he sent these emails to had recommended was a known PDF. And he's being arrested for harassing the Archdiocese. Like, how is any of this meant to make sense? Hang on a second. Hang on. Hang on a second, everyone. So how? So once we get through this part, we're going to objectively break down how something like this happens. And we can take away the words priest, we can take away the words police, we can take away all of this and look at data. Okay? Because if we live in a world where a man is recommended a priest who turns out to be a not nice human being, and then his vocalizing of disappointment to this bishop has resulted in him being arrested. How can emails, right, that say, hey, I'm very upset at you for you sending a PDF file to me. I'm very upset with you about that. How, as a police officer, can you read that and then go, harassment, mate? Let's just forget. Like, when you see like a government document that's been like declassified and it's got those redacted like black bars through it. Were these redacted emails? Like, what are we talking about?
of course, the children are shocked. They were quite aggressive, and unfortunately the sound didn't come out. But you can imagine what he was like, just getting ready to take the dogs for a walk, and 6 police officers come out.
Also, can you make sense that if this was a bank robbery, why the CCTV footage would look like it was from like 1985? Can we wonder that?
And surround you and put you in handcuffs and arrest your wife as well. As I said, unfortunately, you can't see Lorraine's arrest because she's off camera, and there's no sound. But anyway, just to let you know what was going on, I'm talking to them because I'm confused. I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, what are you here for? And they tell me the charge. I'm incredulous. I said, what are you talking about? So I have a little bit of a questioning session about what is this all about, because I'm surrounded by a whole...
You're surrounded by 17-year-olds and a guy with a beard.
Load of police officers, and I'm in handcuffs, just about to take the dog for a walk. And what was more shocking was Lorraine was also arrested.
See, it's interesting that they arrested his wife, because you would think if this was based off of personal emails that are correspondent directly from him and his email, what would any of this have to do with his wife? Like, what would any of this have to do with his wife? And I just mean that based off of, there's been countless, and I mean countless monsters who've been exposed, whose wives look like they could have kind of known or maybe known a something. Nothing. In fact, there's a really weird one right now. I was going to cover it this week. If you guys know a guy called the Hedgehog Man, he's been covering a very loud, brash character from the UK and discussing some of the online activities that have went on over the last sort of 6-7 years involving some young people. Not children. Definitely in the UK are legal adults. Okay? But really weird. Like, really weird. But that's for another day. British police is the UK, or British UK police's empire. Nobby, you've kind of fried me with that one. Set out to destroy our Christian English Isles and working class Indigenous English Irish. Well, do you know what, Nobby? I'm not even a Christian, right? I'm not part of the Jesus faith, but I'm totally sound with this country being a Christian country, right? Like, I am okay with that. Oh, I'm so okay, because things are all right, okay? And if we suddenly have to, there's some worrying stuff going on in this UK right now. And I think a lot of you who decided to be atheists, you're really... So, yeah. And again, I'm not a Christian, okay? But if I had to pick a mainstream religion out of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity for my country that I'm in, I believe it's a lot easier to just stick with what you know. So that's all I'm saying. Stick with what you know. It's a lot easier, okay? Just go to the Virgin Media default customer service of it's easier to keep a customer than recruit a new one. All right?
So I am questioning what exactly is going on. And you can see them all. That's the back.
Me and Jesus are cool, man. I just don't follow him. He's all right, though. He's a good guy. Like, you know, he's definitely on my team. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I have to draw a line in the sand and push all the gods that are I on one side, he's definitely over there. Don't worry.
Of my head there. And I'll just play it to the bit where they put me in the back of the van. Again, I'm just trying to get clarification about what exactly is going on, that 6 police officers come around, storm around, put me in handcuffs just as I'm about to take the dog for a walk.
4 officers surrounding him. You have to assume that the same amount of officers are with his missus. In fact, let's say there's 1 less. Let's say 7, right? 3 police cars, 2 police cars and a paddy wagon.
I'm trying to call the children because the children are in other parts of the farm to let them know, because they're basically just dragging off the parents. So the children, I was trying to call I was saying to them at this point, can I speak to my children? There's no one here on the farm. You're taking off both their parents. There's a safety issue. And the police are saying, don't call your children. It will stress them. I said, well, there's no one to look after them. They'll be left alone on the farm. You're taking off both.
Don't call, I'm sorry. Don't call your children. Now, we have to assume that's what was actually said. We can't hear it being said. But if you're informing the police that you've got 2 children here, and they're telling you, don't bother telling them, that's just going to upset them, that sounds a little bit kidnappy to me. That sounds a little bit like, use your phone, get these handcuffs on, we're going to scare you a little bit here, because, you know, because we all know the John Wedger narrative of the UK police. And you know where I stand with the John Wedger narrative. I'm a fully fledged member of the John Wedger narrative. Okay. Also tonight, me and John Wedger live. Also very exciting stuff coming with John and myself over on John's channel. A bunch of that will be getting announced tonight. So those of you who like a bit of Ron Swanson and like a bit of John Wedger, the wedge part, the next evolution in the wedge is coming. Right. So do you know what? I'm going to just put this in the notes. We'll talk about it after we watch this, right? The fudge do they mean don't tell the kids? Like,
their parents. So I was at this point saying, I want to see my children before you arrest both of us, because there's no one here to look after them. So that's what was going on there. And they would have been quite happy to put me in the car. But I said, I want to speak to the children and let them know what's going on. That's what was going on in that conversation. Because we do live on a farm, and the children are aged 9, 12 and 14, and then you can't just leave them alone and arrest their parents. So that's what's going on there. If I didn't say anything, they would have just put me straight in the back. My hands, you can see my hands are handcuffed behind my back there. And I'm trying to call the children. I don't know where they are, because we're on a 5-acre farm and we're trying to locate where they are. We don't know where they are. I don't know if they've been scared by the police cars or what. Lorraine is in handcuffs at this point as well. And we're trying to access where the children are before they arrest us both. I'm being searched at that point. You can see I'm being searched. You can see the police officer there. I'm just saying, what is going on? He's searching me for weapons. I'm being searched again. Again, I'm handcuffed. My hands are behind my back. They tell me not to move. She's got a hand on me to restrain me. I'm saying I need to speak to the children. They're telling me to be quiet. I said, I need to speak to the children. There's Gemma. Now, that's one of my children, and I try to tell her what's going on. That's my child, Gemma. She's 14, and she's the eldest. So I'm trying to tell her to find the other 2 children to let her know what's going on. Now, my child's really traumatized at this point.
Okay, so this is one thing that we wanted to know. I'm sorry for talking through this. So his eldest is 14 years. And enlightened. I'm all right, mate. I'm mid. It's just crazy. So
that's Gemma there. She's 14, and I'm saying to her, can you find Zoe and Zaki and let them know that we're being arrested? Mum and Dad are being arrested, and to look after them. So that's what I'm doing. So that's Gemma. We found her there, and you can see I'm still being searched. So obviously this is very, very traumatic. The children were traumatized and in shock. I'm in handcuffs. I'm saying I'm saying where is Zoe and Zaki, because they're younger, and Gemma's saying I don't know, and we're trying to just find the children to let them know that both their parents are being arrested. That's what's going on there. The police is saying, is basically telling me not to talk to Gemma, but I kind of dug my heels in and said, look, you can't just arrest parents and leave 3 children alone on a big farm.
So, in my knowledge, it's innocent till proven guilty, right? And if you're being arrested, you have put up 0 fight, okay? Unless Brendan has got some 10-year police rap sheet where he's previously done time for like battering 4 police officers and routinely resists arrest, why wouldn't you allow him to talk to his kids? Like, he's done nothing but comply with these officers. Nothing but comply. And like, I'm not being funny. If anyone's part of the police force, or their partners are part of the police force, or any of them have grown up with police people, like police in their family, can you comment on this? Can you explain why he wouldn't be allowed to talk to his kids? Because it seems to me like he's informing these officers, allegedly informing these officers, that his children need to know. His children can't be left alone on a farm, especially when the eldest isn't even an adult. You know what I'm saying? It seems really weird.
So that's what's going on. I'm making a fuss about the children's safety, that you can't just take their parents off and leave children alone on a farm. That's what.
No, 100%. They'll arrest you and take your kids into service, in child services. That's what they would do.
This conversation is about.
Like, if this was 2 substance abusing parents that were getting arrested for their whatever, are you telling me they're just going to leave a 4 and a 5-year-old? Oh, don't worry about the kids, man. They'll just, starve while we deal with you. It doesn't make sense.
Unfortunately, as I said, there's no sound on this footage, but Gemma is standing there. She's absolutely in shock. And I tell her to try and find Zaki and Zoe. And Gemma just doesn't know what's going on. I'm still in handcuffs. So again, I'm saying, where are the other children? I'm just making a fuss about the children. I'm saying Lorraine is also in handcuffs at this point as well. So we're both in handcuffs, surrounded by police. We're trying to locate the other 2 children before I get into the car. And I kind of said, I'm not going until the children are found and we have adequate, minding facilities for them.
Well, I mean, if that is the case, the police seem to be allowing this to happen at this point. Nobody seems to be trying to usher them into a car or anything like that. So,
before you take off their parents to the police station. Again, I'm still handcuffed. My hands are behind my back. Gemma is standing there. And again, I'm surrounded by the police. So as I said, if I didn't stand my ground and talk about the children, I'd be in the back of the van by then. They do put me in the back of the van. But the issue why we're standing around, as I said, it's to find the children. And I didn't realize they were going to arrest Lorraine, my wife. She's off camera. And I said, you're going to take off both.
What are they arresting his wife for? Okay, so I tell you what, Uber. Once we're finished this first set of rants, get ready to come on to Discord. And if you could, Uber, I'm going to post a link to this guy's, the original video that we watched, okay? I think it's 5 minutes long. Could you go and just skim through that and give us a breakdown of truthfulness? And then we'll talk about that, and then we'll watch the next interview together live, Uber, and you can break that down for us as well, if you don't mind, you handsome devil.
Both parents will leave the children who are all 14 and under alone on a farm. And so we were having a discussion about that, because I thought, okay, they can arrest me, but surely not. So Gemma's gone off to find the other children. She's just gone off there.
See, no, I wouldn't say the kid's going to be traumatized watching this, right? Like, obviously, yes, to some extent, seeing your parents arrested, super traumatizing, right? But have you ever seen an episode of Cops? You ever seen like a real heavy-handed police takedown? Because heavy-handed police takedowns tend to happen. I'll tell you in a second, Duber. Tend to happen when the police know that they have got this case totally tied down. Okay, when they know they can step over the line and it doesn't matter because you've got 2 ounces of shiny crystals all weighed out into little dime bags shoved up your pooper. Okay, you explain that, Stevie. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas here, it really feels like we are witnessing a security staff who've arrested a shoplifter at Asda or Walmart and can't step over a line. Do you see what I meant? Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's given off we have no authority here vibes. It's weird. Also, Uber, what I was saying is I'm going to post a link. If you could go back and watch this original 5-minute video, watch from like from the start of it to maybe like the first 4 minutes. Then after we've done this section, we'll talk a little bit about that video. And then we're going to live watch through his interview that he done a few days ago, and we'll reassess his actions there. Because I've got a funny feeling this man is completely being as truthful as you can be. It's just kind of mad.
I don't know if you can.
Also, listen, for the love of God, if you like the Sean Atwood channel, if you like Ron Swanson, if you like content, can you like and share? Really, really like and share for me. Okay, we need to push out all of these shows. Big shout out to the mod team. By the way, there will be updates on mod of the month coming up very, very soon. Ron was busy, real busy. But yeah, we're good. But please like and share. I know you're hearing the words. Please support me. Share my stuff, like my stuff, share it again, watch it on the kid's iPad, watch it on your phone, tell your pals, go down to the local cafe and just start taking people's phones and making them watch this. I know it sounds extreme, okay? I know it sounds extreme. But maybe we need some extreme measures now, okay? Maybe we need to radicalize promoting YouTube content.
You can see she's gone off to try and find, because Lorraine wasn't free either. Lorraine was also in handcuffs at this point.
Yeah, there will be a public vote for a mod of the month. Yes, 100%.
And so I said, Gemma, go off and find Zoe and Zaki and just tell them what's going on. I'm still handcuffed. You can see my hands are behind my back. The handcuffs were really, really tight. And they did leave marks. They were far too tight. I'm not moaning about that, but I don't think it was necessary to have me in handcuffs. Okay, and it certainly wasn't necessary to have Lorraine in handcuffs. So there you go. So she's got rubber gloves on, and they put me into the back of the car.
They're arresting both the parents from this property. I don't see how they couldn't have given this man the courtesy of informing his children. I'm very confused. Zero resistance. Oh, they're taking it to the wagon. Wow. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, this is wild.
Where are they? I'm still in handcuffs. And as I said, the problem was that Lorraine was also under arrest, so she couldn't look after the children. And we were trying to access them because, as I said, it's a big farm.
See, if I phone you up and I tell you that my wife cannot stand you, and I start calling you a bunch of names, and I'm really horrible to you, does that mean that my wife gets arrested for the things I've told you she said? Or do I get arrested because I'm the one who's saying them to you? Because the law can only work one way, right? So why would they be arresting his wife if the emails were sent from his personal email to someone he's known for over a decade, 15 years, about his disappointment in them sending to his church?
That's me there. I don't know if you can see me. That's me standing there with the police. And I think that's my little boy, Zach, who's 9. So we managed to find Zach. I was concerned about Zach because he's the youngest, and I tell him what's going on. The police were telling me not to talk to him.
Now here, this is disgusting that the police have allowed this to happen. Okay? This is disgusting. A little boy standing there in a field about to be left with both his parents gone, and the police haven't done this in a way where these children's mindsets are considered. Maybe also when security officers, let's not call them police, let's just call them security staff, are sent to fearmonger people, maybe it's not a good idea to throw in child being traumatized cases or liable or witnesses. They all looked very disappointed that he went along very happily and willingly. They don't really, I can't see their faces, but I assume so.
To him. And I said, Zachy, I'm being arrested. Mama's being arrested. I mean, obviously he's only a little boy. He was in shock. I said, we're both being arrested. Take care of the children, be good children, and we're going to try and get a friend here to look after you. So I was just explaining what was going on. I was trying to calm him down because the children were in shock. Gemma, that's my other child, now is coming. I think Zoe was too scared to come down. So these are my two.
Ooh, the Diddy verdict. Right, hang on a minute. Okay, hang on a second, everybody. Deliberates after partial verdict. Jury split on final count as deliberations continue for third day. 5 hours. Okay. Partial verdict reaches. That's still where they were, though, right? They were still on a partial verdict, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're still in the same place, right? One of the Kaza, you can let me know if that's where we're at, where everyone should be at. Still partial decision, right? Yeah. I think it's a hung decision right now. I think so.
2 children. I am explaining to them that mum and dad are being arrested, and not to worry. They stopped me talking to the children, and then they put me in the back of the van. Now the police are talking to the children. Zoe, I think, was too scared. The children were really traumatized and upset. And as I said, they couldn't go to their mother because their mother was also in handcuffs. I think at this stage, I think I'm standing there because my concern is with the children, okay, and their safety. And the police are talking to them. I think I'm being put there in the back of the van, and the police are talking to the 2 younger children. And Zoe, I think, was too scared to come. The children are obviously really, really upset because I'm being dragged off, and their mum is also in handcuffs. And Zoe was too scared. So the children are really, really traumatized by this. The police are talking to them. Now, the footage goes on and on. What happens is we do eventually find someone to come and look after the children. Then the police go into the house and seize all my...
Yeah, but Clarissa, I think that's what they want us to feel about Diddy. The whole case, everything about Diddy feels like it's been designed to make us sick of even wanting to hear the answer. It's odd.
My equipment, they seize all our computers.
Like, why are we sick of it? It's massive. It's all the things that are wrong with the world finally getting justice, but we're sick of it. It's so bizarre.
Computers, all our mobile phones, they search the house from top to bottom. They take away about £12,000 worth of equipment. We're left...
So they've taken away Oh man, so you have to assume that's the kids' phones, the kids' tablets, the kids' computers, his phones, his computers, his tablets, everything, hard drives, the lot. For a harassment case. For a harassment case. KLG, keep me updated. As soon as we've done the full segment on this, we will jump on the Diddy case for a half an hour or so after this. Now, I just want to let everybody know my full-on vision for the Sean Atwood channel and myself is 11 till 1 doing a show, which you're watching now, the crime, coffee, and conspiracy theories. There's a load of different ways. The only reason that we're doing that is because it gives us a very big freedom. Kaz, don't write stuff like that. Just copy and paste your comment from above, because I'm not going to stop and look for it. If you know what I mean, I can't do that. But just let me know. If it was about Lady Kate, I think I did see it. Annette, hey, Lady Cat, yeah, no, that was KLG. You see what I mean? So me trying to find your comment and then ask you if this is the right comment doesn't make any sense, mate. Just send me your comment again. So he sent an email complaining to his friend that his friend sent a PDF file to his church. His wife and him are then arrested for harassment. Oh, okay. I don't know what that means, but we will get into this. We'll once we've done this segment, we'll get onto the Diddy stuff. But the idea that in a perfect world, I would like to do a 5-hour stream every day, where the first 2 hours and the last 2 hours are scheduled shows. So 11 till 1, it's crime, coffee, and conspiracy theories, and then from 3 till 5, maybe, it will be another scheduled show with an hour of sort of back and forth with you guys, free talking, bit of development, conversation, whatever. And we'll see how it runs. But I need you guys to like and share and push this out. Like, I need to. Also, if you're watching on Twitter right now, tomorrow's show will not be on Twitter, sadly. So you will need to come and watch it on the Sean Atwood channel. So please make sure you're subscribed. We need the viewership here. We don't have the luxury of spreading you guys out right now. So if you are watching on Twitter and that's going to be a problem for you, I do apologize. But we can. We're going to get to that too, Uber. I keep talking through this, so I'm going to shut up now.
Left with no mobile phones, no computers, nothing. We were held in the cells for over 10 hours, and we didn't get back home till nearly midnight. And again, the children there are just being traumatized. Now, this is all as a result of a complaint by a defrocked priest who didn't like the fact that.
Okay, so it's the defrocked police that's made the harassment claim.
We found him out, and he was the one who instigated this whole complaint. That's what this was all about. And obviously this was, I think, a travesty of justice, and traumatized the whole family. The children are standing there. They don't know what is going on. And I said the shocking thing about this is that Lorraine was also arrested. So the children don't know what to do. They do come into the house, as I said, and seize all our equipment, seize all our phones. Gemma doesn't know what's going on. Zaki doesn't know what's going on. Gemma's going off to see.
That little boy standing there, waggling that gate wire, is the saddest thing I've ever seen. It's not the saddest thing I've ever seen, but just look at this little guy's brain trying to compute all this.
She can find Zoe. Zoe's just scared, apparently, in her room, doesn't know what's happening. Zaki is there, just wandering around. Dad's been put in the back of the police car. And I'm still in handcuffs. Lorraine does not have freedom of movement because
Zaki's off. Zaki's like, nah, mate. I've watched podcasts when I'm meant to be asleep. I know what these guys are up to. I am out of here.
He's also under arrest, but
he's probably not. He's just following his sister. But he's
off camera. And I think they're trying to get a neighbour to come and look after the children. As I said,
Oh, good luck with that. I mean, there's certainly no neighbors anywhere in this vicinity. I mean,
the shocking thing about this is they arrested both of us, all as a result of
over a non-violent confrontation over emails.
complaint.
Out a PDF file, who was sent by a bishop to his church.
Spurious complaint by this fake priest. They do, after this, as I said, it does go on. They do conduct a house search and they seize all our equipment. Obviously, that's not on camera. They seize our phones, everything. We've got nothing. We can't operate. We had to go to London. We had to get identity. I mean, it was such stressful. That now they go and search my car. Look at this. I didn't know they were doing this. They searched my van. This is my van. And they...
For what? Oh, yeah, don't worry, Freebie. Now that I'm settled, we'll get Mod of the Month voting happening. I just didn't want to set it up before all the chaos of the weekend, and then it just... it's coming. It's just, it doesn't make sense.
Like they searched the whole van, and they did this to the house as well. I mean, you can see what they were doing in the van, but they searched our house as well from top to bottom. There's the children again. Trying to find Zoe. Zoe was hiding because she was scared. She didn't know what was going on. They're trying to find Zoe. They're wandering around. Again, Lorraine can't look after them because she's under arrest. Then they start...
Well, here's the thing, Uber. That's what I was thinking, right? But there's certain crimes. Does a search warrant, an arrest warrant and a search warrant are two different things, right? So is it maybe the type of crime that gives them access to it or something? I don't know.
Searching the car.
You know, maybe they smell a strange odor coming from the vehicle, Uber. Maybe they smell a strange odor and had to go in and check just in case there was some like Rastafarian like culture going down. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? My dog has signaled to a chemical and now I have to search you.
And just gives you an idea what they did to our house. They came in, they did the same thing to our house.
Chris,
is just like, that's my...
Chris, the mad thing is there's another car that you can't see.
Little boy, Zaki, he's 9. That's Gemma, she's 4.
Oh, verdict has been reached. Hang on a second. Sorry to interrupt everybody on the Diddy case. Oh, it's not yet known, baby. It's not yet known. It's not yet known.
I'm totally traumatized. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
They're calling for Mama. Mama can't talk to them because she's under arrest. The police aren't really doing that. There's Zoe. Zoe runs out. Okay, so now we've got the 3 children. So we've got Zoe finally comes out. We've got Zaki. So those are the 3 children. They're just absolutely traumatized. They're calling for Mama. Mama can't talk to them. Gemma is the eldest. She's explaining to Zoe what is going on. The police...
Like, see if you're an actual scumbag parent, right? Or you're like an ordinary decent criminal, right? And, you know, the police are part of your life. Your kids are kind of primed to deal with a lot of this. That is not the case here. This is like a guy that plays the piano, has a doctorate, has a farm, has a church on his farm that he wants to, you know, give those who are on the same religious grounds as him somewhere to come and worship and do all of that. This is outrageous.
Don't seem to be too interested in the children, but the children are really, really upset and traumatized because both their parents are in handcuffs. So the police now go to... This will show you what they did to our house. I mean, you can see what they did to the car. This is my van. And before they searched the house, They open everything. They've confiscated my phones.
I may or may not have worked in a garden centre.
And just to give you an idea what they did to the house, they go through everything. They search the van. I mean, there's nothing in there. But like, they've got gloves on. They do a thorough search. This is before they come into the house. I'm eventually driven off to the police station. Lorraine is still standing in handcuffs. She doesn't have freedom of movement. Unfortunately, she's off camera, so you can't see her. But they did put her in handcuffs, so she doesn't have freedom of movement. That's why you can't see Mum, because she's also arrested. So they're going through the car. And this will just give you an idea what they did in the house. I didn't see them searching the car, but they did go to our house and confiscated all our equipment. They confiscated about £12,000 worth of equipment, everything, computers, phones.
All right. So, well, this is like, what are they searching for? Is there some harassment in there, Uber? Like, okay. So before we go on to the next section of this, we're going to check on the Diddy situation, and then I'm going to get Uber on. Yeah, it's still saying that there's no... It's not, is it? Oh. Oh, it's here. Oh. 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 Jury confirms unanimous verdict. Judge is now asking the jury, four-person, if they have unanimous... Yes, they have a unanimous decision. Is that it? They are teasing this out. But okay, anyway, I'm going to jump onto Discord. The girls can come on and keep me right. I'll be in the phone-in server, people. And testing. Uber, are you there?
I'm in, mate.
Right, we can hear Uber right now. I just need to put your sound up a bit, Uber. Just give me a second, mate.
You can hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can indeed, mate.
Lady Cat has all the information ready in the Diddy room. Okay, wicked. Right, so listen. I know that's on the RQ server, right? Yeah, it will be. Diddy room. Okay. Okay, so Lady Cat is saying count 3 and 5, count 1 no, Cassie no transportation, Jane no transportation, only guilty of transportation. Not the other word, sorry. The other T word. Damn. I'm telling you, we should have put bets on that Diddy was going to have a Christmas #1. Because this is mad. But we shall be triggered by Diddy just shortly. Oh, there's Lady Cat. She can explain it to us all. Are you there, Lady Cat?
I'm here.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Right, hang on a second. Let me just...
Been a nail biter.
It's been a nail biter, all right. So just before... It's just the timing of this being announced that's derailed us a little bit. So can you fill us in just quickly, and then we'll come back to Diddy after we've done our segment on Brendan. But where are we up to with the diddler?
Well, the news is coming in constantly, but they did just confirm what I had typed in there, that Rico was not guilty. No teeing, but transportation, yes, for both Cassie and Jane.
Damn. Okay. Well, this is interesting.
I'm very disappointed. I
think
mean,
we all
they
are.
clearly proved Rico. I don't think the jury understood that they differentiated that he was perhaps guilty, allegedly, of the crimes,
Okay.
but did it personally and not enterprise. But I don't understand how they could.
Okay,
not
I've got you. I've got you.
exemplify.
So basically, it's a case of it was all to suit his own desires, not anyone else's. Basically.
Correct.
Wow. Well, look, Lady Cat, we will come back to Diddy. I just don't want to derail the main point, but if you can, just wait for us to do this, and
Okay.
we'll jump back on it. So, for example, this is a prime example. When I said I wanted to do like a 4 or 5 hour stream, and there'll be 2 shows, something like this that pops out of nowhere would be the hour in between those 2 shows. You see what I mean? So it gives us that bit of flexibility. But I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm very and also big shout out to all of the ladies, as have been collectively called on the server, who have been doing such good work on the Diddy case and keeping up to date with it all and informing the community and all of that. So thank you to all of you, and look forward to hearing. I have got everything is just a knot in my hair right now. All right, so Uber. So the first video I sent you, that was this one here, where Brendan's in the car. What was your take and your verdict on that? Just, we may as well be objective and look at every one of these and see if there's any alarm bells ringing off, if Brendan can be trusted, all that kind of stuff. What's your take?
Well, I can't see any type of deception in what he's saying, none at all. He just looks like a father who seems to be very concerned about the situation regarding this PDF file priest, and so he should be. I mean, if he's already been disrobed, and he doesn't want people to know who ordained him and all this lot, which are red flags, as he says. The guy's got brains, obviously. He's not stupid,
right?
And he can obviously see BS when it arrives. You know what I mean? So I trust his word 100%. I've got no reason to distrust anything he says.
Good. Okay. So just so you know, Uber is our resident, what the hell is it called? Body language analysis.
Behavior analyst.
Behavior. Yeah. So he's an amateur hobbyist. Basically doesn't get paid for it, right? But he knows what he's doing. And we call Uber in when someone is sat in front of a camera and talking. And Uber can kind of give us a little bit of, hey, this guy is full of crap, or if he's not. And first bit of footage, 100%. I think we all knew he was going to pass, but it's better to sort of have someone check it over. Now, at this stage, again, please like, please subscribe. And everyone who is watching on Twitter, please understand tomorrow the show will only be on YouTube. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the Sean Atwood channel and you come and watch us over here. It would really mean a lot to us because that is where we are needing to rebuild our viewership. Rico was always a stretch. See, we'll get into this after this. Now, Uber, you just sat and watched with us the footage of the arrest. Now, in what world, Uber, is my wife getting arrested for me sending emails?
Not in any real world that I'm aware of.
Because for me, like, if it was maybe like a video call where my wife's like in the background, like throwing off slurs and like harassed, like saying things she shouldn't, I could understand. But this was all based off of emails.
Yeah.
And
private emails.
Private emails. So does that mean then you are liable for the crimes that I say you've committed in an email to someone else? So if I say, oh, Uber said this about you in an email, are they going to come and arrest you?
If you mention my name, they'll arrest me anyway.
I just don't get it. And then there's the situation with the kids. It's a non-violent crime. And like I say, unless Brendan's got like a 20-year history of being a very uncooperative member of society with the police, I don't get what I'm looking at.
I know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a circus, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think IPCC should be the first people to get the next email.
Okay.
And the fact that the police are not even making a single bit of effort to calm those children down. They have a duty of care. Now, those kids aren't under arrest. They're innocent people, regardless of the reasons for the arrest of the parents. Number one, they've got absolutely no grounds to stop them from speaking to their own kids. because it's not a crime against their kids and anything to do with abuse or anything like that.
It's not, yeah,
Number two,
it felt like
see that
it felt
you
like
can
they
see
were.
the kids.
It felt like
Go on.
they were late to an appointment, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, mate, can't tell your kids about this." You know, we're all trying to get down to that freaking Domino's two for Tuesday. Do you see what I mean?
Probably, yeah. But I mean, where's the duty of care? That they have a duty of care towards those children to keep them safe and calm, and they're not doing that. They're making no effort. And the copper that searches that van, I mean, look how many times he looks back, and he doesn't even know what he's looking for. More weapons of mass disappearance? I don't know what. I mean, he's got no clue what he's looking in.
So
yeah, that was a good point.
The reason for searching the van.
Yeah, that's a good point. What are do you think it's maybe more electronics? Do you think they can justify opening? Do you think it's one of those searches where they can open the door and scan the inside for more devices? Do you think maybe that's what it was? Because it doesn't look like a thorough search.
It's definitely not a thorough search. And I think that either that copper doesn't know what he's looking for, or he knows damn well that he's wasting his time searching that van anyway. But they look completely uninterested in searching.
Can we
van.
just?
I mean, look at her. She's walking.
No. I've got the one for her. This is imagine you're playing a computer game right now, okay? And this is the most NPC police officer. This lady right here. Look at her. Where's she going? She's went into, what was the former president of America called? Biden. She's went into Biden mode. I'll just have a little wander over here, okay?
Yeah.
Have a little wander over here, and then someone will tell me that I'm not meant to be over here, and we'll wander back over this way. Like she's went full Biden. She's went full Biden. And what is this guy doing? I didn't even see him. He's doing the same. This guy.
He's just pacing up and down like he's waiting for a bus.
He just looked back at her and being like, she's pacing. I better start pacing. These two are on work experience. Busy. This is some bring your daughter and son to work day madness that's going on here. Like,
it would be laughable if there wasn't young kids involved, you know, and obviously considering what the situation is with the priest, it would be laughable if it wasn't so serious.
So Sky Spirit said we need to see the emails. Okay, do you know what?
I'd love to see.
You're probably right. So let's just assume that the emails are not direct threats of life. Okay, let's assume that this man sent a angry but assertive letter where he never broke any criminal. Like, you know, if I send you an email, Sky, saying I'm going to come to your house and do horrible things, I'm pretty sure that's a crime, right? But I don't think that's what you would have done. Like, I can't
see this guy doing that.
But hey, listen. We've got to be objective. We can't hear what the police are saying. You know, we can't hear what he's saying. I believe everything this man's saying, but at the same time, we all thought that the Diddy case was pretty much open and closed, and look at the situation we're in now. So, but again, this is some Biden. He's looking over here. He's like, I'm just going to wander back over this way. Then she comes this way. Then he stops. I think maybe he's got a crush on her, and he was about to make his move there, and then he bottled it.
Probably. Yeah, he does. Do
you see what I'm saying?
Seem to have a little bit of an eye for her, doesn't he?
Mate. What is he's spending a long time over here as well. What's he doing down here? He spent about 30 seconds on this side. So what's he doing here?
He's crouching in the shade trying to keep cool. That's all he's doing.
It's a freaking heat wave in there. Okay, so we've seen the initial video reporting the arrest from Brendan. We've seen the CCTV footage. We've seen the video of his arrest. Now we're going to jump into Dr. K interview on the Ian Collins Show Talk TV. So Uber, you're going to do your thing on this. If we all need to mute on Discord and sort of take notes and go through this, and then we'll see each other on the other side, that's probably the best way of doing it. So Uber, you do your thing, and do you want me to mute Discord and then come back once we've all watched this section and we'll just all watch it on YouTube?
It's up to you, whatever's easy, mate.
Well, because what will happen is you'll get the sound from YouTube and you'll get the sound of me playing it on Discord. So It's probably best that you just watch on YouTube. Right. I'll talk to you on YouTube and I'll see you back after this video. Pay attention though, because this is what I'm going to ask you questions on.
Is talk.
Now 25 to 3. Let's look at this story. I'm going to call our next guest to start with a YouTube pianist. There's much more to him than that. Not that that's not significant enough. YouTube pianist Brendan Kavanagh and his wife were arrested after they raised concerns about a...
Yeah, keep in mind, even if he is just a YouTube pianist, the guy's got over 1 million subscribers and his interactions are wild. Like, he'll upload a 3-minute video of him playing a piano somewhere, 100k views. Bosh.
Priest allegedly defrocked for child abuse. Police seized £12,000 in electronics, leaving their 3 children terrified. After 2 months, the case was dropped with no crime found to have been committed. Brendan criticised police for acting on complete lies, sparking debate over policing priorities. We're joined in the studio by the man himself, Brendan Kavanagh. Brendan, good to see you.
Good to see you, Ian.
Let's just clear up this thing firstly. So, YouTube pianist, I mean, you're because you've got 2.5 million subscribers to your channel, which is massive. Yeah. I mean, by anybody, that is massive. Initially, that was really all about your piano work, right?
Yeah, I mean, I started off posting online lessons. I mean, I'm trained as a secondary school teacher, so that's my official job, you know. But when the YouTube started taking off, I decided to ditch teaching and become a full-time YouTuber because the money was so much better.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and less hassle as well.
And less hassle, less Ofsted.
Yeah, less of all of that. But of course, you know, more recently you've used it more, you know, also for free speech.
Yeah, I mean, what I do, Ian, is when something happens to me, I actually film it, because a lot of people say a lot of things seem to be happening to you, Brendan. It's only because I actually document it. Like if I'm in the station and the police come up to me, I tend to film it and put it online. And so it's become almost like a vlog of my daily life and what happens to me. And obviously what happened to me a couple of months ago was quite extreme.
Yeah. Well, here's how it happened for me. So I'm sitting at home. You'll know this because you've got kids. And I'd cooked the kids some food and couldn't be bothered to cook for myself, so I just ended up eating what they'd left. Right. And I was sitting there.
What? What? So that's a lie. What you mean is you put on the kids' dinner and you just made yourself dinner with the kids. Okay? Just because you like chicken nuggets doesn't mean you have to make up a lie about, oh, I just ate the kids. Who eats the kids' leftovers as your dinner? Like, this isn't a Toby Carvery. Okay,
on the kitchen top and eating pasta and some other bits and pieces. And I was looking at your video, but I didn't.
I'm sorry. Okay, listen.
Didn't have any sound up at the time. I was just looking at the video and I just thought, hang on, what's this?
He's a drug mastermind.
Who is this man? Like, he seems to be on some sort of farm and a load of police cars have shown up. Yeah. The police car, and I'm looking at it and going, hang on, no, whoa, he's in handcuffs now. He's in handcuffs. I thought, I've got to watch this back. And I watched it back and I turned up the commentary where you're explaining what it was from your own CCTV, wasn't it, where you live?
Yeah.
I'm going to put a $5 on it that everything that man just said is a lie. I bet he got emailed this and he just watched it in the office.
So tell us what had happened then on this. I don't know whether to start with the day of the arrest or whether.
Well, the day of the arrest was April Fool's Day.
So you're thinking,
well, I thought it was my mate Terry, who's another YouTuber, who said he was going to get me back with a prank, and I thought Terry's gone through a lot of trouble.
Terry from the Rose and Crown, he's always putting
Terry Miles, my mate Terry Miles, he was going to get me back. I thought Terry's put a lot of money into this prank, you know.
He's done well. They've all got the right uniforms, even the cars.
I thought Terry's really pulled out. I honestly thought it was my mate Terry Miles. Check out his YouTube channel, by the way. Yeah. But when they started marching towards me, frog march style, like the death march, I thought, oh my goodness, what is going on? And then they slapped my wife in handcuffs, and I thought, what is going on?
Did they do that instantly? The handcuffs?
They grabbed my phone, put me in handcuffs, and then they put Lorraine in handcuffs, and then my jaw just dropped. My wife, and then the children. We didn't know where the children were.
You can get nicked for shoplifting and not have handcuffs put on. I mean, what were they expecting?
I mean, Lorraine, my wife, did manage to get the handcuffs off after about 20 minutes. So you don't actually see her in handcuffs. But
she's kind of off camera.
But, you know, they said that she was capable of violence, that she was going to do violence to herself or to others. So I don't know where they got
what?
that from.
But why did they stick you in handcuffs initially before going, oh, the reason we're here?
Well, he said to me, the officer said he didn't know what my reaction would be.
There's plenty of people that get in. In fact, police forces around the world look at British police and go, isn't it interesting how
listen, Alexander Cameron, okay, as a man who also has to wear shades inside and has to deal with looking like a complete plonker when he wears them because of hypersensitivity to light with his eyes, I feel this man's pain. I can guarantee you that is not a fashion choice. If it is, I take it all back. This is not a fashion choice.
Often they don't put people in handcuffs, you know, even for sometimes serious offences.
But I mean, they were very gung ho, and I think when they have a sort of white, inoffensive, middle-class couple, they really think they're in a cop movie. The adrenaline was pumping. They really got into it, and I think they thought they were in a cop movie.
Did you have any clue as to why they were there when they first
Well, they
showed up?
told me. They said it's because of harassment. You've got a harassment complaint by Father, let's call him Father Fake,
Yes.
the defrocked priest, who made a harassment complaint. And as a result of basically his victim testimony.
Do you know, it's crazy as well that this guy can be arrested. His entire reputation can be put on the line by public speculation and all the rest of it. But yeah, we can't give the name of the convicted PDF because we wouldn't want to upset the PDF, would we? These glasses are for the same thing. These are more of a. These ones look better. The other ones are a travesty.
Because there was very little evidence apart from my emails, my non-violent emails. That's all they had. As a result of his theatrical performance in the police station, they arrested me because of how he felt. That's what they told me.
But even, I mean, there's so many questions around this. Even allowing for the fact, and if I turned up at a cop shop tomorrow and said, I think I've been harassed by somebody, I would never imagine.
Also, put a 1 in the side chat if Sean was interviewing this guy. Put a 1 in the side chat if Sean would have found a set of glasses to match this guy's glasses. I'm just saying.
Imagine that the police would go, okay, no problem. We'll send 6 police officers round to their house. I mean, you wouldn't, bearing in mind, it's hard to get a cop round if you've had your car nicked.
Okay, so really good question. I think the point is they went in, the 2 of them went in, the bishop and this priest who were both complicit with each other, and they went in full clerical garb to the Metropolitan Police, walking in with their, and they put on a
said, I think I've been harassed by somebody. I would never imagine that the police would go, okay, no problem. We'll send 6 police officers round to their house. I mean, you wouldn't, bearing in mind, it's hard to get a cop round if you've had your car nicked.
Okay, so really good question. I think the point is they went in, the 2 of them went in, the bishop and this priest who were both complicit with each other, and they went in full clerical garb to the Metropolitan Police.
Both went in.
Walking in with their.
So the fact that they both went in, that's the bishop doubling down. This is nuts.
And they put on a show, right? So I think the police were very, very impressed with the clerical garb.
Yeah.
I mean, these people are not even part of the mainstream church, right? They're part of a sect. But they were obviously very, very impressed with, I'm bishop this and I'm that. And they were clearly very impressed with the demeanor of the priest and the bishop. And I think that's what swung it.
That swung it. So you'd had an email exchange with one of these people.
With both of them.
With both of them. And had that gone on for some time?
No, it was only about 3 or 4 emails. I mean, this wasn't like thousands of emails. This was very short, over a period of about a month.
Yeah, that's crucial as well. So 3 or 4 emails sent over a month. So arguably 1 a week.
Was saying, why is this priest still in service? Get him out, you know?
Because there'd been an allegation of abuse.
There had, and like the thing which tipped it over the edge, and in one of my emails, and I think this is what sent them over the edge, is I threatened to go to the media because the priest was still in active service, and I had given the official documentation.
You are the media, mate. Like, you are the. There's media outlets out there with TV channels that don't have 2 million followers.
Of his laicization, nothing was being done. He was going around to families with children, offering to say private masses. And I said to his bishop, if you don't take him out of public ministry, I'm going to go to the media. And that's when all hell broke loose. That's when they went to the police and thought,
which is not a threat, by the way. Just so people, oh well, that's threatening behavior. No, that's duty of care for what I would imagine he sees as his kind of flock. If the church is on his property, he's going to see these as his people that come to his church, his community, whatever. Like, he's got a right to worry about the safety of these children.
They'd shut me up with a harassment suit.
But you might have thought the police at that point would have gone, hang on a second, so this fella, Brendan, is threatening to go to the media. That would suggest there might be more to this story. You might think that a diligent cop would first think that.
Well, there is in modern policing, in modern policing, there is a complete lack of common sense. Common sense is good. There is no good judgment anymore. Somebody can come in, give a theatrical
See, the problem is, he's completely right. We live in 2025 where no one wants to be a police officer. And if all you've got is the crappiest of the crap to pick from, why would you assume they would have common sense? They're the dregs. They are the percentage of individuals that would be cut and left on the cutting room floor 20 years ago in police in the UK. It's the dregs now.
Performance, say my feelings are hurt.
Like, I'm just saying, if they figure out a way for policemen to also be influencers, and you can have 1 million followers and profit from being a policeman, and put your, like, imagine big massive cartel bust, fire off a selfie, hold up the L'Oreal product next to the captured cartel member, ka-ching. People would want to be policemen there. Okay? But we ain't living in a world where we're picking teachers, doctors, or the police from a pool that is even capable of it.
And the police will investigate. So the police can actually be used as a vexatious tool to silence people, because if you come in, it's very much on your emotions and your feelings and your impact statement, and you can talk a load of BS, but if you can give a convincing performance, the police will come out and investigate, and they love doing it, and they seized all our equipment. My solicitor said they love seizing equipment because they want to get you for looking at dodgy stuff on the internet, right? So they went through all my hard drives, they found nothing, but they seized all our stuff, and that's really what they wanted.
I mean, that to me was the other bit as well. Again, there's loads of crimes you could commit and no one would nick all your kit. I mean, but with this, because it was to do with communication, everything electronic, every computer, I'm sure the odd switch got put in the bag as well. You know, everything was in there. Your phones, all taken away from you. And when I saw the imagery, and for those
the odd switch put in the bag.
who are watching visually, you can see it on screen now. There's 3 police vehicles there. You got 3 kids as well.
Yeah.
So
that's actually a good point, right? Like, we've all possibly lived in a world where we've fallen out with a neighbor and been like, shut it, Brian. See these hedge trimmers, you're getting it. That seems like a harassment. But even then they'd come around and be like, did you and Stephen have a fallout with the hedge trimmers? Yes, but you know, it was said out of, you know, like, no one sees in.
They're at home with you. No one else is there looking after them at this stage. So what happened there? I know your eldest daughter first came out.
Yeah, well, first of all, we didn't know it because we've got a 5-acre farm. We've got some goats and some animals, and the children are off doing this and doing that. We don't know where they are. I mean, it's a safe environment for them. And so when the police arrested, we didn't know where the children were. And one of them, Zoe, was hiding in her room. She didn't know what was going on. Our little boy, Zach, was just wandering around aimlessly, and Gemma, who's the eldest, I shouted at her, and she eventually came to talk to me. But
to see her dad in handcuffs.
See her dad, and the police lady put her hand up and said, "Stop talking to your child."
Is that allowed at that point?
And she said, "You're distressing them." She said, "You're distressing your child by calling them. Just get in the back of the van and shut up."
So you end up, after all of it, how long did that whole scene?
The police were at our house for about 3 hours. They went after this. They went into our house, searched it from top to bottom. There was so much equipment, they took it all out. And then we had to get a neighbor to come from 17 miles away to look after the children. They were there for 3 hours.
I mean, just
17 miles away.
Mere idea that you'd had an email communication with somebody who had said they didn't like it very much.
Yes.
And that provoked, was it 6 officers altogether?
It was 6 officers. I mean, basically, lies were told. The fake priest was saying that I was calling on my followers to beat him up, that I called him a PDF file.
Nah, Jesus ain't saving these cops, man. Jesus ain't saving any of these people. Jesus not even interested, mate. Jesus has written them off. Jesus has got a... Do you know when they talk about the naughty list? That's Jeebus. Jeebus has got the naughty list, and they're these guys mate, you've made the naughty list. You've made the naughty list. You've made the naughty list. All of them. Whoever registered this car, naughty list. All of them, naughty list, mate. There's no saving these people.
Had given out his address, and that I was getting my 2.5 million followers.
Jesus is way smarter than that, man. Jesus is past. Jesus was like, I'll save everybody back in the day when like most people were in 2025. Jesus is like, nah, mate. There's a list now, and if you ain't on the list, you ain't getting saved. Okay, trust me. I know. Okay, I know. Okay, we've got some conversations back and forth. Okay, nah, you don't send Odin. You just sadly, you know the problem, Fifi, right? Is if we wanted to handle this in Odin's way, the minute these guys came onto this land, this man would be swinging an axe and a shield, and those 4 kids would be like, arrows ready, release. But now in 2025, it's difficult, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It's yeah. Oh, we can send Alan. Oh yeah, Alan can be sent. Alan, 100%. But it's one of those, man. It's one of them. But yeah, now Jesus and I have had a chat, and this whole everyone gets forgiven is no longer a thing now. He's done away with that. If you're not on the list, you're burning in hell.
To go around and beat him up on the street. Now, this could have been verified by a check.
Yeah.
Because it was completely fake, but they didn't. They didn't even check that claim. Okay.
I think the man of the cloth might have been a bit hesitant before saying something that could be easily checked as well.
Well, our barrister is all over this because he said the evidence was just basically non-existent.
Yes.
So we're going to be suing them for basically kidnapping and false imprisonment.
Yeah.
And we're going to take them criminally. We're going to sue them criminally. And he said there was absolutely no basis for the arrest. And my emails, people are saying, oh, you sent violent emails threatening. My emails were not violent. The most I said was to the bishop, he was a disgrace for not taking this priest out of service.
Well, that sounds perfectly reasonable, put like that, doesn't it?
But basically, I think the problem is that the police are run now by emotions, by your feelings. They really are the hurty feelings police, because if you can go in and say that your feelings are hurt and you feel subjectively alarm and distress, that's all they want, because they use it as an excuse to seize your electronics, because they want to get you on something that you're looking at your computer, because that's really what they want. Okay, so all our stuff was sent to Luton, it was sent to the lab. Everything was down.
God.
Yeah, it was
what did they think you were running? Some kind of soprano racket?
My little boy Zaki had a
literally the last cop show this presenter seen. That's where his point of reference was.
Tag on the computer. Says, oh,
not a bad one. It definitely felt like The Sopranos. Okay, it definitely felt like that. Wild.
Taken to Luton, which apparently is the big center for downloading all your stuff. So we had about several computers, all the hard drives, all our phones, every single thing was downloaded over a period of about 3 days. All our family, everything. They didn't find anything. So yes, I have had my hard drives checked. There was nothing on it. And I think they were really, really disappointed.
I mean, that's extraordinary, isn't it? You'd think if you were telling somebody that story, then the crime, in inverted commas, that you would have had to have committed would be sort of some sort of international drug lord.
I'm not being funny. It's not your goddamn human. This is the thing. And I just want to make this clear to everyone, and I stand by this. You have no human right to not be offended. Who cares if you're offended? Who cares? Shut up. No one cares. Okay? It is not a human right. It's not your human right to come onto YouTube and not be offended at the stuff I say. And I don't care about your right to not be offended. And neither should anybody. Okay? In order to speak freely, you're going to upset someone. You're going to upset someone.
Who was...
We're running a terror cell.
You're running a terror cell, something like that. The idea...
Like, suck your mum, you big snowflake pansies, if you can't deal with it. Seriously.
A lone...
Like, if you need me to break it to your mother what you're about to do to them, I'll phone them. Fire me your mum's number. I'll be like, listen, they're coming around to suck their mum. Okay, they couldn't accept the fact that it's not a human right not to be offended.
Complaint at a police station would even result in that. And the bit that I really don't get, Brendan, if somebody had turned up at the police station and they said, look, okay, we'll send an officer around at some point. And I don't know, a couple of days later, we had a knock on the door from PC Smithers and said, very sorry to disturb you, Mr. Kavanagh. I've had this fella come in. He said this. Can we just hear your side? That would have been okay.
Well, Ian, you've obviously got the voice of common sense, right?
I think that these two kind of look like the same version of the same man ordered from two different places.
But
we are the station of common sense.
But apparently under Blair, this changed. Blair brought in these laws where the police could come in gung-ho like this. They didn't used to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Yep. What that was Blair brought in sanctions or legislation that makes it a criminal offense to question an official government report. And this was all round about the time of 9/11. that this came ushered in. It was round about the same time as you lost the right to protest. The right to own property has been taken from you now. So let's say Uber bought his house. He's 10 years into his mortgage, and then a freaking known spicy global criminal moves in across the road. The police can just kick Uber out of his house and say, we need your house now for government business. Rasta McRajasthan lives round the corner now, so we need to keep an eye on him. Off you pop. What?
And the overkill is just unbelievable.
It's that, isn't it?
And like also, you know, a couple of million people have seen this arrest, and the police's reputation is going lower and lower and lower with the public. They're shoplifting all over the place, knife crime, snatch crime. The police haven't got resources, but you send an angry email or you put a tweet on and they come down on you and take you in. I mean, how much did this arrest cost?
Well, yeah, and all the forensic people that had to look through your hard drive.
This cost thousands.
When you had the interview, did you know, was there a point when the officers, you could tell the officers interviewing you were thinking, this is a bit bonkers?
No, because obviously they were going, I mean, really the whole crux of this was the fake priest victim statement. I mean, that's really what swung this whole thing into motion. And we were stuck in the cells. My wife was in the cells. After about 5 hours, we were put in different cells. The inspector, Inspector Lindsay, a female inspector from Kempston Police Station, she came down, she looked in the cell and she said, oh, we're figuring out whether we should let you go or not, but because the charge is so serious, we're keeping you and your wife in longer.
So serious?
Yeah.
Right.
And so
you sent four emails to her.
Yeah, so we didn't get home until midnight, myself and my wife. Now, we want to know, what evidence were they running off, right? This really needs to be taken to court, because it beggars belief that the standard of evidence was so low to even allow this, right?
The other thing I don't get, just a final point, Brendan, is that it's not as if the police haven't seen these other cases where this has happened and what the fallout has been.
Also, can I just say, there are actually brilliant police officers out there, okay? I just want you to know that. There are awesome police officers out there. It's just, sadly, I grew up in a world where the majority of police officers were right? But now it's not the case. It's the dregs, man. But it doesn't mean that they're all like this. There are good police officers, trust me. But I mean, it's sad that you just don't know any of them. Yeah, they all get told to do paperwork.
Right.
The couple that got onto a WhatsApp discussion about their kids' school and the governors. You're familiar with the story,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I am. I mean,
I know
Allen and Rachel Levine,
Indeed.
we've been in touch with them.
Yeah, Max used to be my producer a few years ago. So
I know.
They end up with not a dissimilar thing. Load of police turn up. Absolutely incredible. So when it happens, you might think that the police go, no, we're not going to go down one of those rabbit holes, because otherwise we're going to end up looking really silly out of this. And of course, what happens is that they do, and they still pursue it, despite knowing that those officers, when they were interviewing, must have said to each other, this is bloody nonsense.
Well, when we went into the police station, the arresting officer said, the guy behind the counter said, what was it, a tweet? Sort of So they were kind of rolling their eyes a bit. But
So was it a tweet, which would mean was it a public statement that you've made that's got you here? No, officer, it was a private conversation between me and the man who sent a PDF to my church. What is this? What world are we living in?
Yeah. To be honest, the police now is so compartmentalized. Every section does its job, and there's no kind of common sense chain of command anymore. Everyone just does their little job, and nobody knows what's going on. The police who arrested us didn't really know what was going on, because they were told by the Metropolitan Police to come and arrest us. So they just did their job. So everyone's in a little bubble. Nobody really knows the whole picture. I think the person who needs to be investigated is the inspector who authorized this arrest.
Do you know what disgusts me, right? You watch the British government declare martial law in the UK, and you see how quickly British soldiers will question policing and shooting their own people. Okay? But when it comes to the police are for our daily bread and butter of where to go to when we're in danger, to feel safe. Are mugs. You're all mugs. All right? Mugs. Grow up here. In fact, you know what? Get a different job. Get a different job. Okay, just go. See, because this whole situation with the UK police, it's not getting better. The public image is not getting better. People wanting to be part of your police force isn't getting better. Local lodges are a real problemo. Nah. Do you know what's a real problem? Evil lodges are a problem. Okay? Evil lodges. Do you know the problem with lodges, Ray? Is if you're an evil, twisted individual and you work your way up into Grand Master of a lodge, you can then set up your own lodge where you handpick your first few members to found that new lodge. And if you're an evil, twisted individual over the last however many thousands of years that the group that you're talking about there, Ray, are in question, do you know how open to corruption that is? Because I'll tell you now, see, for every single twisted evil lodge there is one just full of dumb old men drinking. And there's another one full of people who are well aware of what the evil lodgers are doing. And the biggest misconception that everyone has is that there's a blanket across one entire sect of people. Like, I'm sorry, I grew up in the 90s where you can't just pigeonhole a whole group of people for the crimes that the minority of that group do. Hang on a second. Hello. That's all right. Come and say hello if you want. Come and say hi. Come and say hi, you big Jesse. I like your bum. Come and say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Ah, Carmen's here. So I can't remember what I was talking about. I stared at Dan was bent over in the corner over there and actually done it again. Now I can't remember. So we're just going to go back to this last minute of this.
Was it?
We will. Well,
We want to know.
We will watch with interest. Listen, Brendan, thank you for coming in.
Thank
Let's
you.
keep in touch though on this.
Thanks, Ian.
It'd be
I will,
nice
yeah.
to see how this one progresses.
Well, if we take it to court.
All right. So Uber, I'm turning Discord back on. Let me know when you're back. We're going to break this one down a little bit because what are we watching, bro? I need to sort this here. Give me a sec. Nah. Fucking hell, mate. Right, Uber, give me a second. I'm wrestling with this ball.
I can see you in that job.
Oh, man. Right, one second.
God.
This hair is too much for one man.
It's that animal you've got stuck on your head.
Yeah, all right. All right. It's not affecting my quality of life, all right? But man, I took it out the bobble today and it just went like full on bouffon. I've not had a shave. It's not the best day today, people.
Top knot now.
No, tomorrow we'll be back in the game. Also, Ciego, whose name I never get right here, this guy. He has a kick-ass band, and we're hopefully going to try and figure out him putting a mobile phone on a live stream, and we're all going to hopefully see his band one night. Don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if he's allowed to do that, but we want to hear it, man. Get it braided, Ron. Do you know, I would love for some braids in my hair. Monica hair. No. We're not going full like puka shell, like head caught in the shower curtain madness. But look,
like you were right if she'll do your hair for you.
Oh yeah, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. She walks towards me and all life under her feet is dying like a necromancer in a freaking fantasy movie. Super awesome. No. Thank you, no. All right, Uber. So we've just watched that interview. Any signs of deception? You know, other than the host making up a bunch of stuff about eating his kids' food, that was a lie. That was definitely a lie.
Been keen on him,
that was definitely a lie. That's all right. That's all right. So, I mean, where are you at? Because for me, it seems like everything he's saying makes sense. Okay, you know.
Yeah.
Why in God's name? He explained that the priest that was accused and the what's the word? Hang on. The bishop that he'd known for 15 years and the family that he'd known for 15 years that recommended him. The bishop and the priest went into the police officers in full regale, right? And obviously that's going to cause a bit of commotion. But why in God's name, if you're shown those emails that is making a complaint about a potential child predator. How has this ended up with him being arrested? Do you have any sort of, like, what's your take on it, Uber?
Well, I mean, I can only go from my own personal experience on the wrong side of the law for many years. There is such thing as a voluntary interview. So, number one, they could have contacted him and said, look, we've had a complaint. Could you please come in for a voluntary interview?
And would that, listen, Uber, would that be based off of, if you're like a super, like you've no criminal record, right? And suddenly this pops up. Is that the sort of thing they would do to someone who's not a repeat offender, or is that just like a low end crime thing?
It's a low end crime sort of thing.
Okay.
I mean, I've been asked to come in for a voluntary interview rather than be arrested.
So have I. So was I.
So, I mean, I can't understand why they haven't asked this guy to come in for a voluntary interview. I can't see any reason for an arrest, and certainly not in front of his kids.
Okay. So let's say, let's just play, just so you know, we're just speculating now, everybody. So let's assume this guy's got a secret track record of being a nightmare. Okay. Which he hasn't. But let's just for a minute play that. Why is his wife getting taken in?
That's another good question.
Because they said it was to control potential. Do you think it's because it was a farm and they probably have shotguns? Like,
They could probably use that as an excuse, but the fact that there's 6 police officers there, all within spitting distance of them, they're not going to get to any firearms before they got brought.
Yeah, but if that was the case and they were fearful of violent reaction, which is what I think they said, right? That they were worried that the wife was going to go off on one. Like,
harm herself in the side.
You would have armed officers if the worries was a firearm, surely.
Yes, 100%.
And it would be a controlled situation. So none of them, in fact, you know what? Let's just go back to when this car's pulled up, and I'm going to put it on the screen. You don't have to watch along, Uber. But the point that I'm making is these guys look like they're pulling in for an ice cream. Okay? Pulling in, and there's not even any blue lights on, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there is no, flex of authority. This is just a bunch of policemen pulling up to this guy's house. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. I'm assuming that's his wife that's just got out of the car there. She walks off screen. Oh, yeah, because they put her in handcuffs, and then we next see her out of handcuffs. I will say this, though, right? I just want to say, why is it every single person when they're about to get arrested looks like they are deleting shit off their phone, right? Like, what is he doing? It's like, I've got to continue my Snapchat streak. You know, is this nervous twitching that we're seeing here? Because he doesn't look like he's actually doing anything on his phone, but it looks a lot like the same actions that he's doing over and over again. Tap, swipe, tap, swipe. Not that that means anything, but I always seem to point it out when anyone's arrested. I got a second. He is a strong community member. I got a second. Also, this is a Sihan. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but this was the community member who put me onto this. And thank you very much. He's a strong community member. Definitely looks like it. Part of the scheme of breaking up families, okay, communities. Plus, show me the video where he engages a policewoman playing the piano with him. He's a community builder. That's the impression I got. Texas, yep. And Cyan. When I went through all the content that he's known for, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. And it's not even like no one knows who he is. He's got 2 million followers. His interactions are crazy. Like, this guy farts next to a piano and 100,000 people are going to watch it. Texas, that someone pointed it out earlier that this was the guy who got hit by the what is even the word, Texas? The Chinese, like, federation of we're just going around other countries talking nonsense. Whatever that was. But yeah, same guy. And there's nothing else we can take from this other than there is more concern about silencing this man and the more concern about the poor effects that it has had on a bishop who not only supports but advocated for a priest who has allegedly been derobed, who has been confirmed to have been derobed when he was out in his practice, out in the Caribbean, right? Nothing suspicious there, Uber, right? The only thing less suspicious in the Caribbean would have been the Philippines for a PDF priest, right? Nothing going on there.
Yeah.
You know? And when we
Ordained by Patsy Ramsey.
It's just crazy, man. And the fact you've got to keep in mind the key points that we need to remember on this, Uber, is the bishop and the family that recommended this guy was known to Brendan for 15 years. So in the back of his mind, all of these weird things about, oh, you need to keep it a secret, all of that, if he's got his friends backing him up, he is just seeing that as a layer of protection for his own decision. But then when it turns out that his trust was misplaced in these people, what happens? He is getting arrested. And like he said, no charges have been followed, no crimes, nothing. But we have children who've been traumatized. We've got computer stuff that's been taken from his house. There might not be anything illegal on there. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, maybe 15 years ago, him and the wife got a bit mad, filmed a little something, left it on his computer. Now that's all subject to police everything. And I'm not saying that's what's happened, okay? I'm just saying it could have happened. Chris, thanks for highlighting this case, policing in the UK. So, Chris, we haven't even got started on the police yet, mate. Like, I'm easing this algorithmically gently, okay? Gently, because I'll be honest with you, bro, you're spot on. The policing is beyond lost. And I'll be honest with you, Chris, I think we need to start hearing from the John Wedgers who's still part of the police force. The 20-year-olds who feel disheartened by the police, by the career that they've been put into. The 30, the 40-year-olds, the 50-year-olds who are coming up for retirement, who wonder what the hell is going on. There is going to be this weird overlap of new police officers who want to be good police officers and can't, and older police officers who's watched this whole thing fall apart and don't want to keep their mouth shut anymore. I guarantee you they'll have to because of pensions and threats. We know what John Wedger went through. Jesus, if it was just John Wedger's pension he was worried about, I'm sure he would have been screaming long before. But, you know, when your children and your life are at stake and all of a sudden your family start getting pushed off of bridges and cars and that, it's a whole different world. Facts. These are all facts. Like and subscribe, people. We're coming up to the 2-hour mark. I will be live again this evening at 8 o'clock with John Wedger for our weekly show. Some big announcements there tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning as well at 11 o'clock with our next episode of this, where we will obviously recap and we'll touch on the Diddy case. But we're going to sort of conclude this with a little chat with Uber, and then we're going to touch a little bit on to the Diddy case, and then that'll be our wrap for today. So please like and share, help me push this out, make sure we can get this to an audience. Also, if you watch this back, and every single video clip that I have shown you has been copyright struck and I've had to delete them all, there will be footage down in the description. So yes, who is filming this footage? This is the security camera. So this is his CCTV footage that he's filming on his phone and narrating. So he's filming this off a screen after the fact, and that was his finger touching the screen there. Right, so Uber,
yes,
hit us with a bit of a conclusion. Hit us with, is he lying, is he not? What you've seen from the police, does it make any sense? Like, give us a couple of minutes of breakdown, and then we'll do our conclusion, and then we'll find out what Diddy's up to.
No, well, he's not lying. That is just blatantly obvious. He's not lying at all. The video evidence is right there. He's completely compliant. There's nothing in his or his wife's behaviour that suggests any type of aggression or escalation. So, they could have done this without the handcuffs. I think these police officers should hang their heads in shame, and so should their superior officers who okayed this, who have a green light at this arrest, should not have their job anymore. And
when do we ever see that?
Dealt with.
When do we ever see that? Like, when do we ever see someone in the police force having to pay for the ill decisions like this? We never see it.
No, we don't.
They'd be on your ass though if your tax disc on your car wasn't up to scratch though.
Yeah, or you don't pay your TV license.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's absolutely disgusting. It makes me ashamed to be British, and it's no wonder we're a laughing stock of the
Yeah.
entire globe at the minute with the
Yeah.
two-tier policing and the way. I mean, this behaviour is just disgusting.
Siego's
And the
been
fact that they don't even take into consideration what those kids are going through. There's 6 police officers there dealing with 2 compliant people in custody, and there are 3 children that are clearly distressed.
It makes
And
sense
not
to me.
one of those coppers make an effort to do anything about it.
Yeah, it makes sense to me that secure the suspects, the mum and the dad, and then put all efforts into informing and controlling everyone else on that farm. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's me put it in the most like clinically sterile way possible. Another way of putting it is, of course, the duty of care to those kids. There's no charges have been followed up. What are they looking through the van for? Why are they arresting his wife? 4 emails. Like Siego's just made a point here. He's seen buskers who've kicked off in front of police for being told to move along, and they're not even arrested.
Yeah.
You know? So if those
I've seen
buskers
protesters behave worse and not get arrested.
if those buskers were singing songs about PDF priests, jail, straight to jail.
Yeah.
You cook the fish too long, jail. Undercook the fish, jail. Okay? Too loud at night, jail. Jail. All jail.
I mean, do you remember the Liverpool thing? I mean, how many coppers did we see intervene in that car going through that crowd?
Yeah, in
Yet
saying
you've
that,
got 6 police officers going after a pianist.
yeah, I'll be honest. I'm the last police officer that's going to try and stop that car, unless I'm like RoboCop. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know that's we need to revisit that. We're going to revisit that. Maybe not tomorrow, but the next day. Let's jump because what happened to that? Man drives through crowd, everyone shuts up about it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? It's just right. Hang on a second. If anybody, Stacey, Lady Kate, if any of you are watching, we're going to sort of wrap this up, and then I would like to talk about Diddy. So, everyone who's watching, Brendan's channel, right here. I will make sure that there is a link for everyone. I'm going to put it in the description right now.
Try and get him on for an interview, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely will reach out. 100,000,000%. I will reach out.
I bet he'd love to come on.
He needs to know that people ain't standing for this.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
he'll feel the closing in and the silencing and the mistrust that he'll now have. A man who plays the piano and has a 5-acre farm, who's a community leader and has a church on his property, is the last person that should be losing faith in the police. Like, it sounds crazy to say that, but like there's absolute reprobates in this country that haven't lost faith in the police. You know, there's a lot of people who should have lost faith in the police, but they don't. This is an individual who shouldn't even be popping up on this is a member of society that if they say a PDF file has been sent by someone, this is the people that we should be listening to.
100%.
Again, unless I'm wrong, and Mr. Brendan's got a 10-year rap sheet that none of us know about, but it's very unlikely. Okay. And again, just look, 13 years he's been posting. You know? And never once has there been any political madness. Nothing. This guy just wants to spread joy, and I'm not going to say with his fingertips, but with a piano.
Yeah.
You know?
Doing a good job of it as well, by the look of it.
Absolutely. 42 million views. Senior citizen plays piano. Then magic occurs. You know? There's a guy on YouTube that packs up a little tiny piano and travels all around the world and plays it in random places, like on bridges and all this stuff. And very rarely does a man with a piano sat on a bridge in Pakistan somewhere with tourists going by ever have a non-positive outcome. Music is the one thing that can transcend cultures, it can transcend language barriers, it can transcend everything. You know,
It's the one universal language that brings everybody together,
Yeah.
regardless of culture, race, and geographical location.
For the police, you mean programmed meat suits that walk around wearing uniforms? Yes, allegedly, that's what I mean. Yes. So I think we're both on the. I think we're all on the same page. This is an absolute hypocrisy. This is disgusting. This is testament to everything, every single thing that is wrong in this country and so many others, with these two-tiered systems that when children seem to be involved and there's individuals who wish to cause them harm, the police seem to get the wrong impression. They seem to go after those who are making the complaints and are standing up for the children. There's no excuse now. There is nothing you can say about the British police force that can convince me that children's welfare is even remotely in the top 10 things of any of these morons' daily business. The same goes with the politicians. The same goes with the care homes. It goes with it all. We live in a system where private care homes bid. They put in bids for non-verbal autistic children who are in care. It's big business, baby. It's big business. And if you want to mess with that business and the ability for non-verbal children to be spread around places where horrific things can happen to them, then apparently you're part of the problem. Don't forget it. All right.
Yeah.
So, the diddler. The Diddenstein. Okay, so let's see. Let's have a look at the world we live in, people. Diddy cleared of racketeering and SEX charges, but guilty of transportation and the P word. So basically, that would be like the same crimes that a high percentage of best men could be convicted of for a stag do. You go out, you pick up some stripper ladies that turn out to be a bit of a, they've got a bit of an escorty vibe. You drive them back to the hotel. That's what you'd be charged with. Transportation and the P word, right? Am I right? I think I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
So, well done. I mean, well done, Diddy. I mean, that, to go from 10,000 bottles of baby oil to basically you're a bit of a sassy boy in the eyes of the law. Well done. I mean, that is some charges. Some people are going to be happy. No one can ever drag you back into court now. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So trust me, we're going to be talking about this. Ron is going to drag us all back down into the depths of why Hollywood is just absolutely garbage and how we can expect more things. I wonder if Ellen and Jay-Z and Leonardo DiCaprio are all going to move back home now. It's funny. It's real funny how none of this went the way we thought it was, right? And it's funny. Do you not think it's really weird? Like, I feel like I'm sick of the Diddy case. The people in the side chat that are sick of the Diddy case. It's the biggest case that is surrounding the human transportation, the children, the cabal that we've ever seen. How could any of us get bored of it? But we have. Oh, and the ladies are here. How are we doing, ladies? Sorry to keep you waiting there. Sorry, that was just me being terrible at my job. Stacey, Pamela Malam, and Lady Cat. How are you doing? I know you guys have been keeping it real every day with the Diddy case. And
oh my God, Ron, this is a travesty.
Okay, well, look, Stacey, what I'd like you to do is just give us the results and then take us through a bit of a chat about how ridiculous this situation is. But if you wouldn't mind, just give me 2 minutes before you go into anything serious. Maybe just chat amongst yourselves and introduce yourselves. I'm going to quickly run to the lavatory and make a coffee. Oh, no, wait, no, I've got a solution for
You're
this.
not going to listen to it?
No, yes, I am. No.
Yeah,
No.
we'll wait for you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, we'll wait.
No, that's what I'm saying. Just don't talk about anything specific until I'm back.
Oh,
No,
right,
no,
okay.
no.
Well, we all know who each other are because we talk in the chat a lot.
No, I didn't mean to each other. I meant to the audience, Stacey. Okay, the audience. Okay.
Are we on live? Because we
yeah, we're Yes,
Okay.
freaking love
Okay.
Stacey, man. She's been too heavily involved in the Diddy case. She's lost all concept of reality here. So
Her name is now Diddy. No.
yeah, she has fully
No,
become.
God, don't do that.
So what I'm going to do is I've got a second camera for walking around the house with, and for when I go and make coffee. So I'm going to just install that right now, and then as soon as that's on, I can wander around the house and listen to you. So there will be 2 runs. It's not a hacker, just so you know. So now if I enter here, okay, now mute this. Oh, hang on. Okay.
Why is my volume really low?
All right. Your volume. Hang on a second. I can't hear myself here. So yeah, the volume's fine. Feedback is still. Don't worry. Once I move away, it should fix it. If it doesn't fix it, then Ron's a dumbass. Okay. So you guys can all hear the Discord, right? Yes, you can all hear the Discord. So I'm going to move away now from here, and we're going to see if the feedback still happens. I think it's just because I'm so close to here, because technically it should be okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Are we still getting an echo? I'm walking away. I'm walking away.
I can't hear an echo.
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. You guys chat away. I can hear you all. Give us the breakdown of the Diddy case.
Good. There's echo now.
Right.
So the breakdown right now is that we have 2 counts of the Mann Act found guilty, 2 counts of sex trafficking not guilty, and the RICO count not guilty. This is just a this is a slap in the face to the victims, and also an injustice. There were so many things that were clearly defined, very evident, that should have been very black and white to the jury. I don't know how they got it wrong. And I hope that this judge gets it right and redirects and makes up for the fact that there should have been more that he was found guilty of. I think even if he serves 20 years, that'll be some justice.
But if he lets him go, if it's just the fact that because they've offered $1 million bond, then it's still not right, because no amount of money is going to make up for the fact that he got away with it.
I think the prosecution,
and he should stay.
The request for release by the defense is for on bond until sentencing.
Yeah. I know that, but even then, even that he shouldn't get. I don't think.
No,
Correct.
He's a danger to society. I mean, come on, he beat the crap out of people and have put threats on people. If he is out of where he's been withering away, then he can potentially be a threat to the people that testified, the victims that came forward. I mean, that is just putting too many lives at risk. He's vindictive.
He's got too much reach, and we know he's spiteful and vindictive. Exactly, Stacey.
Oh, definitely. I think he's the kind of guy, he's got away with it, so he's gonna just carry on doing what he does, and he'll think, you know what, I can do this, I'll get away with it, and he can't be charged for the same thing anyway twice, can he? Like, he wouldn't be able to, for example, if he did it again, but he did it in a, like, they wouldn't be able to charge him for
if he perpetrates, if he
double jeopardy, I'm talking about.
No, if it's a new charge, absolutely. If they can't, if he perpetrates again, then yes, he can be brought up on charges again.
Oh, you can. Okay.
But he can't be brought up on the same exact things that he was just in trial for. So
Yeah.
they can't go after him on the same as trafficking with Cassie and Jane. You know,
Right.
if there's someone new that comes into the picture that there was trafficking of. Now, we do know the feds have all this video surveillance and, you know, they were tapping his phones and whatnot. So who's to say that the feds don't have a backup plan to get him on other charges?
Yeah, I mean,
There could be financial charges, you know, tax invasion charges.
Hang on, one second, ladies. Right?
They have
So,
up their sleeve to make sure that he's put away for as long as possible.
all right, can you guys hear me?
You know,
Honestly, I think if they had discussed
One second, can you guys hear me?
completely washed over in testimony and questioning. If they had brought finances into it, then I think the jury would have been able to make an association to the enterprise as opposed to normally what people think of racketeering belonging to.
Okay.
Well, they did bring up the money that, you know, was being given to assistants to pay for the substances.
Right, but they didn't relate it to his business.
So what accounts it came from. Yeah. I think that was done intentionally. I think that's why I'm alluding to the fact that the prosecution may have other things up their sleeve just in case, because right now, you know, don't forget, he requested a quick trial, right? A speedy trial. And so there was only so much that they could focus on in 6 months' time or however long it's been. And they had to narrow their focus. And in doing so, that allowed them to really build a case on the most important things that they wanted to go after, but also gave them time to further investigate other things that they may have to go after in order, you know, if this trial didn't go right and he didn't get the sentencing that they wanted, they have other things that they've been investigating behind the scenes during the trial. You know?
Because Stacey, because I was going to say exactly the same thing, because, you know, everybody keeps saying that, you know, when the feds are involved, you know, it's going to be airtight. He's not going, you know, he's not going to get away with it. That, you know, everything. I mean, they made such a big drama of it, you know, when he went to the house with all the, you know, the officers and everything. And, you know, I thought that if they've been watching him for such a long time, they would have it's so airtight that there'd be nothing that would actually let him get away with it.
Apparently, they only started their investigation on him when the Cassie case got settled.
Right.
And so between November of 2023 and what was it, March when they raided his house, or April of 2024? So, you know, they had enough in those few months to raid his house. Now, between April of 2024 and now, I would assume, being the feds and the access that they have to all different resources and the amount of people that they have to investigate other things, that they have likely been ongoing investigating and watching surveillance between the videos and anything that they wiretapped. And believe me, I'm sure they've been keeping their tabs on Christina Quorum.
I hope so.
You know, I think, I don't, as much as this feels like a gut punch right now, I think that this is not the end of the feds dealing with him. I think there's more that's gonna, you know, that's gonna be brought into trial, you know, at a later time, just because this was rushed, you know, and you know, I think the jury really needed more time to understand the law and to pay attention to the predicates to have the outcome that we all were thinking was going to happen, because of the fact that they were told yesterday, hey, you need to go back to deliberating because, you know, we can't have a partial verdict. I think, you know, come on, it's 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, right? They went into court at 9 a.m. Now, after the judge said that yesterday, they dismissed the jurors for the day. So what, they only had an hour today of deliberating before they decided, oh, not guilty on RICO. That's not enough time.
It was quite quick. It was quite quick this morning. I was quite surprised actually. I thought they'd at least, you know, really look into it more.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with juror 25 when
back,
he was basically saying
I was listening.
you know, he just wants to give a guilty or not guilty verdict.
All right, guys, can you hear me now?
Sorry, am I interrupting you, Ron?
No. I was just saying I was listening to everything. I was in the other room. And one of the points that you had picked up on was the footage, right? Whereas there was apparently countless amounts of footage, all of this stuff that was meant to be used in the case, and there's just none of it. But I tell you what, just while Ron's talking, I'm just going to hit you with a little Nova,
Oh,
a little bit of Nova action here.
Little Nova.
Yeah, she just chilling with her blanket.
She's adorable.
Oh, look how big she's getting.
Right. So we've got a little high chair for her. So she'll be part of our.
Oh, bless her. Oh my gosh. Look. Oh my God, look at her. She's adorable.
Yeah, she's lovely.
She's like, what are you doing, Dad? She's like looking at you like, oh my God. She's like,
very photogenic.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's adorable.
She's beautiful.
So anyway, right, without shilling my child anymore, like how have we gone from every single celebrity crapping their pants, leaving Hollywood, making excuses, talks of video footage, talks of USB sticks, frickin' Diglett coming on the frickin' Sean Atwood channel with his story of frickin' books and USB drives. What is going on? What is going on? Because
Stacey,
we had a jury.
Stacey was saying something that makes me wonder if there isn't more going on. This is just going to give people a relaxation time. They're going to pull back. Their defenses are going to go down, and then they're going to be hit.
That is a theory.
Okay. So basically, what you're saying is,
there was a back door.
Hang on. So what you're saying is you think that the FBI have a plan to make everyone feel comfortable, and that they're going to swoop in. I mean, it could be the case, but that would be based off of their defense being weakened by them thinking they're safe, right? But then they still had all of this time to prepare, right?
Can I just
we don't know that the
Pam, 1 second.
hasn't been working on something.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was saying.
Okay.
The feds left an open door to other possible charges that Diddy could be brought up on. You know, we have to remember that Diddy asked for a speedy trial, so the prosecutors had to focus on the top charges that they wanted to get him on, that they thought that they can, you know, put him away for life just on those top charges. However, with us hearing about the trafficking of substances and the distribution and the assistance and Christina Karam, you know, helping pay for it and whatnot, we cannot forget that that can be used against him in a separate trial regarding financial crimes. And the enterprise.
Okay.
So, you know, I would not be surprised if the prosecutors have more up their sleeve that they can hit him with.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, on you go, Pam. Yeah, on you go, Pam.
With regards to like the jurors, and I've already said this anyway, that I didn't think that they really quite understood RICO. And I think, I mean, that people were saying that, you know, some of them, because there was so much information, right, that they were given, and they've got these, you know, they've got these long days sitting just listening to like the attorneys and watching the freak off videos and all that. And I really just believe that they didn't they didn't understand what. And obviously, like you say, RICO was originally for like mafia bosses, the things that they were doing. And I think maybe if they thought, well, okay, like he was only dealing with, with the drugs and everything. It's like the the guy that got caught, the drug mule. Now apparently he didn't have he was. People said that he had drugs on him, and he did, but it was a very small amount. It was like a vial or something. I was listening to some of the content creators that are actually sitting in the actual courtroom, and they were saying it wasn't like drugs on a large scale. So maybe they thought, well, actually, that's not really.
No, but they were illicit and very illegal drugs.
Yeah. I get that.
This wasn't,
like, I'm pretty sure there were so many of them.
But I don't think they understood it clearly enough to think, okay, even a small amount means the same thing.
Yeah, but RICO, the pharmaceuticals were never going to be the part of the RICO. The RICO was the transportation and the women's and all of that. I mean,
there were drugs involved in the RICO predicates.
Yeah.
And
drugs distribution was part of it. Yes.
Okay.
I think that the biggest problem with yesterday's decision to send the jury back without re-instruction, as the prosecution requested, was detrimental, because when the prosecution requested a re-instruction to the jury of how the law would apply to the charge, and the objection from the defense, I think, was a huge factor in keeping the jury in the dark of how to apply the law to the predicates of the charge. If the re-instruction had gone through, I think the outcome probably would have been different.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So basically what you're saying is the complexities of the case outweighed the intelligence of the jury, basically, is what you're saying.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Definitely.
Interesting.
I don't think it was that they aren't intelligent enough. I think it was very easy to misconstrue the instructions, because they always overcomplicate them anyway. And with all the different charges he was facing in this trial.
Yeah, nobody's saying the jury members were not intelligent. It's their perception of the law.
Right.
And also
they
remember,
needed to have people like us on the jury.
But also maybe they weren't absorbing.
No, I think you're worried about people's feelings here. Like if you're if you're a jury member and you're going into something and you've turned around and said, "Oh, I fully understand this," because you're not have the self-confidence to say, "I don't understand this," you're a moron. Okay.
Well, moron. Maybe they just thought that they couldn't do that. That they thought that. I personally think I just think there was. With RICO, I think there was so much that is within the RICO charges. I just think that they didn't understand it to the point that, okay, this is still RICO, and also, when they were doing all that exchanging, like, for example, they were saying about the trafficking of Cassie and, was it Jane Doe? I think it was a case of like they were just assuming, oh well, they were his girlfriends. He was just abusing them. They were his girlfriends, but they still wanted to go back to him, even though he was abusing them. So for them, like with trafficking, in my head, I would have thought that it wouldn't have just been. It would have been a lot of women that they would have trafficked, and I think if it wasn't just his girlfriends.
Yeah, but that's by, is that not, can you not see how that's by design? Like it works in his favor if it's his girlfriend. That's your point you're making. Yeah, okay, I'm with you.
Right.
Just quote unquote girlfriend.
Yes,
and
quote unquote.
When somebody is put in the position that they were, their anxiety, their fear, they were young. There was a lot of factors that they were never applied to why they may have acted in that way, in conforming to him, into pleasuring him in their text messages and everything else like that, by fear.
Oh my God!
Fear
Listen. I just need to say something to the
I
chat.
think that
1 second. My daughter
Sorry, Ron.
is unleashing the most loud farts I have ever heard a 6-month-old
Oh,
make.
we can't hear her.
So I just want to let the chat know that's not me, and I am powering through this. Like this is
How
this.
easily you can blame a baby
No,
for
dude,
what is coming out of you, Ron.
Ron, really?
Don't blame poor innocent Nova.
Listen, I've been doing this almost a decade, and at no point have I farted
You've
on a
been
live
fighting a
stream.
decade, yeah. Sure you have.
Nah. So, I'm just letting anyone know if they hear anything or they hear me going, "Oh my God, that's the stinky bum bums that I'm dealing with here." So I'm just letting everybody know.
You see, won't last very long if you're letting ones off like that on it.
Yeah, I think I might need to go and change a nappy / diaper, depending on what country you're in. So listen, I won't be able to hear.
Yeah, what country am I in?
I'm going to.
We're in the UK, obviously.
I can do it. I can do it here. What do you mean? What country are you in, Pam? we're all in different countries.
Diaper, not nappy.
Yeah, it's just for our brothers and sisters across the pond. A diaper. I mean, what even is it? I mean, what's a nappy? They're both stupid words. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are.
They really are. Okay, so I'm still here. I'm just going to shut up. I'll change this diaper. I'm going to change the diaper.
You're going to, go for it.
But yes, the feds have definitely got a lot more coming towards Diddy, but I think the last minute
pressure
deal, and the pressure and everything else, I think they've been like, this could be iffy on this, so let's just close this one off, get more intel, and then get into everything else later.
If this didn't align with a holiday weekend, I think the jurors would have taken an entire week to deliberate on this.
But the thing is, sorry, Stacey, but they weren't told that they couldn't take longer. They weren't like saying, okay, we need the decision like tomorrow. Like, okay, if you can't do it, if you can't decide tonight, we need the decision tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, they would have given the jurors however long that they needed to then decide whether he was guilty or not.
No, but I think some of these people may have had the mindset of, okay, we're done with this. Like, we've seen so many versions of these, encounters that we don't want to keep rehashing it. I think the jurors are exhausted and want to be done with this and want to enjoy their holiday weekend. I could see that being a factor, as well as, the judge saying to them, hey, listen, you can't have a partial verdict. You got to go back in and deliberate. That's the only reason why, that would explain why it only took an hour today for them to come back and say, yeah, we agree he's not guilty. I can't imagine other, I just think that if we didn't have the holiday and they had less pressure on them, I think they would have looked at this a little more carefully.
I get that too.
Been too much.
Do you know? Sorry, Shane, go on. Shane.
It's all right. I forgot now.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
No, there was just that. I was just gonna say the thing is, like, I know I keep going on about them, like the amount of the information that they were having to absorb. But when you think about it, if they're really tired, and some of them had clearly, and people had pointed out some of the jurors are like falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? While they're listening, when they're supposed to be listening to all this information. So you think if somebody's falling asleep, they're not going to kind of repeat themselves and say, wake them up and then repeat themselves. Then that person's most probably missed some vital information because they've fallen asleep, because they're that bored and they're that tired. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's why sometimes I think that maybe. And the other side, they didn't have any, like the defense didn't have anybody coming onto the stand. So it was just basically like prosecution, just telling them, explaining everything. And it's not necessarily going to be in the kind of like the jargon that we would use. It would be, how they're supposed to speak professionally, you know.
I know that the judge tells them, you know, hey, just because Diddy is reserving his right to remain silent and not testify doesn't mean that you should judge him any differently than if he were to testify and so forth. But I do think it should have spoke volumes to the fact that he had nobody come to his defense.
Yeah. I think
that goes to show that other people knew that he was guilty. They couldn't lie on the stand. They couldn't be cross-examined by the prosecutors because of the fact that they know he did all this stuff. And I think the jury should have really listened to that, you know?
Yeah. People were on that stand and they wanted immunity, which means they had done things that were illegal. And yet, you know, they didn't even think, okay, you know, these people are like coming on here, but they're all saying, we'll go on the stand, but we don't want to be charged for whatever they would be charged for normally. And they were, so then
them getting immunity means that they know that they did things that were illegal. So how could you question the RICO? How could you question the RICO when people that were employed by him asked for immunity for their testimony? So they know that they were involved in illegal things. And therefore, that alone right there shows a corrupt organization.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Just give me 1 second, girls. So that is a good point about the immunity and all of that. Just want to remind everybody, we are currently in our first episode of our new daily show. We'll be starting at 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, going on till about 1 or 2. The wonderful team here who've been following the Diddy case. I just want to say a big thank you to you for giving us updates and things like this. And as the Diddy case grows to a close, we will find something else for you lovely people to be updating us with and being part of the show, because, you know, it's great to have you back, and sorry that so much of the case was missed because of shenanigans and all of that, but here we are. And I just wanted to just say to everyone once again, please like and subscribe. Please make sure you push this out, and I'm going to send it back over to the ladies. And what you were talking about there, and the last point you were on there was, oh god, I just said it to you, Stacey, immunity. Thank you.
So I mean,
that in itself,
I don't think this is the last we're going to hear of Diddy.
Yeah, absolutely isn't going to be the last. I think they cut and run while they can, so they can focus on other stuff.
Right.
Also, will he be?
Sorry, Pam.
Sorry, can I just quickly just say that, you know, for example, he's got his private plane and everything, that will still be seized, won't it? He won't have access to that. Just say if he was, like, he's not getting bail as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's a bloody good question.
Here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Without the trafficking charges and without the RICO, the government can't seize his assets.
Oh. There you go. Right. So he could just get on that plane and go.
Right. Now, according to word around the street, Diddy has told his family if he is set free that America doesn't deserve him, and that he's going to go somewhere where he's respected, like 100%. Africa or
the Philippines,
not the UK,
the Middle East.
Yeah,
like go ahead, go to the Middle East, go to Africa. Good luck.
Yeah,
serve your time first.
That is,
that's it.
That has to be the statement of the century.
And then you go wherever the hell you want to go outside of this country.
Yeah, that is the best way of saying Diddy's out of here that I have ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
they don't want him either.
Yeah, hopefully he will get like at least 20 years.
Well, this is the thing. So let's pivot now, ladies. Let's pivot now into complete speculation of prison time and charges. Where do you think we're gonna end up? You've got to take into consideration his massive contribution to society. You know, wait. If he's not a human T-worder and he's not a RICOer and he's not a substance dealer, then he's just a little scallywag, and you know, what's it going to be?
Scallywag, but in my opinion, he needs to serve at least the time that this has been going on according to this case, which is 20 years. If they give him any less than 20 years, that is a complete and utter injustice. Now, whether or not he'd be eligible for parole at some point, that's a whole nother can of worms. But he needs to be sentenced to the minimum time that he has been perpetrating this according to this case.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say it now. I'm going to say it now. No jail time. No jail time. That's what I'm calling. He was either going to go away for 2,000 years or no years. Okay? Like that's the way I feel.
I think the limit for what he's been found guilty on is only up to 10 years anyway.
No, I think the prosecutors want him to at least serve 20. Yeah.
Right, for each.
So that's what the prosecutors are.
Well, I mean, if Diddy gets 40 years,
are going for.
If Diddy serves 40 years, if he gets 40 to 50 years, that's the same as.
Oh no, he won't get that.
That's the same as. Yeah, but that's the same as getting 200 years. Like he ain't getting out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. No.
So
just say if he got 20 years, then he'll be like what, 80 when he gets out?
75.
Yeah.
75. Yeah.
75.
It depends on if he's done any other deals with the feds for bigger names of bigger people.
Oh, freaking Cheyenne just completely throwing a spanner in the works there.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What if we are seeing the Diddy deal?
Yeah.
Do you know what? You've only been here 40 minutes, girls, and already this has ruined my brain.
Well, when you think about it, also, even I've lost my train of thought now. I'm sorry.
Until you think of that, I had mentioned before we gone on live that the weight on the judge is really grave because he didn't like the shenanigans that were going on with Diddy's team. I think based off of the people that were in the courtroom, the judge observed Diddy, and it was pretty evident that the judge did not like Diddy or his team and saw them very clearly. And I think the judge is going to give him the max sentence on both counts. I don't see this judge letting him off scot-free to wander around, and to be out on bail until,
What about we've seen a lot of famous individuals with a lot of money escape massive amounts of jail time. Do you think there's we'll take one of the mansions and the plane and this and you'll be out in 3?
No, look at Harvey Weinstein.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, Weinstein is basically sadly looking like he's an innocent man. Like that's the world we live in.
He got found guilty again.
It's just did they re-find him? Oh, sorry, sweetheart. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm so sorry.
Right, stop fighting, Ron.
No, she bashed her wee head off the headphones. I think he'll walk. See, listen, I'm not being funny. Get your bets on now that Diddy will have a Christmas #1. Jailhouse Christmas, Jailbird Christmas.
No, hear me most probably well.
But nobody's going to want to work with him going forward.
And I'm just saying, if Diddy's people haven't already got Thanksgiving turkeys called the Diddy Jailbird Thanksgiving, and if they haven't got lube in turkey basters coming out, they are missing a tricket here.
Oh my God!
I'm sure he's got plenty to sell.
Do it.
You know what? He's most probably already now thinking when to have his next freak off, knowing him. Like, when I get out of here, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you know it.
Let's not forget. This is the same judge that did not let him out on bail with a $50 million bond.
Right.
He got arrested.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
But also, they have to give the judge a letter, don't they? Both sides. They have to put in there what they want. Yeah, like the information, what they want for, like, what they want Diddy to get, and also the defense are obviously already basically said no, we want him to go home today. So then obviously they have to look for, because didn't he say, well, find me case law where it states that somebody that may have done something similar if they were given bail, for example, that maybe he will consider letting him go. Obviously, we're hoping that he won't.
The judge, I think, is going to say he will consider, because don't forget, this judge has been very careful with everything he does, because he knows that the defense team has been crying for mistrial and appeal the whole time.
Oh my God, yeah.
So the judge has been doing everything he can to prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
So I think the judge is saying on record that he's going to consider if they have anything to bring to the table, but that doesn't mean he's going to actually entertain it. He's just saying,
that is what we all want. Like, we're hoping that the judge will say, no, I've read it, but no, not happening.
Sorry, ladies. Nova's trying to tell you all something. Tell them.
Nova.
What are you saying, Nova?
She's so gorgeous.
She's literally holding the mic and talking to us.
Oh, bless.
She's crying about the verdict too.
Yeah, you're upset about the verdict, right?
Yeah.
You're like,
that's why she's farting, because she's saying
she can't believe
that's for Diddy.
She can't believe it. You know what I'm saying? It was our own. It was someone in the side chat was like, it was our own type of protest against Diddy. Like,
that's it.
Weapon. Why are you holding on to my neck? What? Yep. If anybody else, if anybody else has a 1-year-old or under the ones, bring them over to the podcast and see if they start paying attention. Let's just do some science here. So, what's your verdict, Nova?
Flipping, you're starting early, aren't you? Onto the content creating thing.
I just need to mute Discord. They seem to be talking over the child a lot. What are you saying? All right. Okay. Well, I mean, to me, it sounds like facts that she's spitting. So I'm sorry, Kathleen. Are you who's irritating? Are you saying my daughter's irritating? I'm going to let you follow up with that, Kathleen, before you're straight up banned across my entire network. So
she's like,
you better own up to this. But if you're calling my daughter irritating, forget about ever
who
watching.
said that she was irritating? No, she's just taking
it. Yeah. So yeah, I'll let you follow up on this, and then I'll choose my actions accordingly. Freaking psychos, man. I know. Okay, well, listen, you can go and see Mum. You're not crying. I just want to say, she's not crying. She's just talking. She's just talking. Here's Mum. Here's Mum. Oh, look at the smiles she made. There we go. Right, everyone, you can have a little smile, and then we'll go back to say bye. Say thanks, everybody. Bye. Right, we're back we're back with Discord. We are back. Sorry for muting you, Pam.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah, I'm used to it, Ron.
I'm used to it. Ron needs a shave. Ron needs a shave and to sort his hair out for tomorrow, because this is wild. Well, listen, we've got about 15 minutes left, and we'll be hitting the 3-hour mark. I just want to say, ladies, it's just awesome having you guys here. She does look like her dad. Bless her cotton socks. And yes, someone said it looks like she was teething. She has got the rosy cheeks of teethingness. So she just can't wait, man. She just wants to eat everything. So and it's weird because I'm super sensory with all baby foods. Like Dan, you take baby porridge where you mash the rusk up in the milk. I can't even look at that. So the little baby foods in that are fine, but nah, man, baby porridge in that.
Yeah, it's rank.
Yeah. So listen, so we're all sort of on the same page of 20 years. You think he's going to get 20 years? But do we really think? Do you think that's how it's going to go? If you had to bet your house on it, how much of your house are you putting on him getting 20 years?
I wouldn't put it on, judging how the verdict's gone.
It's not how the game works. It's not how the game works, girls.
Well, that's how my game works.
I wouldn't bet my house on
Say that again?
I would not bet my house on him getting 20 years.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't bet my apartment either.
The general consensus is we have zero conviction in him even staying in much longer.
Do you know, can I just say one other thing as well?
Yeah.
Just one last thing, while it's in my head.
Yeah.
You know, like while he's been inside, obviously no one has really given him that support. And for
Nobody
example,
knows that though.
Sorry?
Nobody knows that though. Nobody knows
Right.
who's
I mean,
been telling him or showing him anything.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, but there was only like Kanye West that went to visit him, wasn't there? And then
Yeah.
he
Well,
kind
we
of
don't
came
know
out.
that, do we? Because
But
we don't
yeah, I
have
know.
access to his personal
I
files
suppose
of
we
who he
don't.
does
But
or doesn't see.
I suppose we
That's
don't.
the
But
only
let's just assume.
confirmed visitation. It doesn't mean nobody else has had visitation or a phone call conversation. It
Exactly.
depends on who's
I mean,
on his
yeah,
phone list, who's on his visitor list.
yeah, no, fair enough. I get that. I'm just saying, for argument's sake, he hadn't. Do you think he would be the same person? For example, do you think he would be welcoming his, supposed to be very best friend Jay-Z?
That's a good
No
point.
one's going to
No, I
want to
think
touch
his
him when
Will
he
he
comes
be
out.
his
or
reputation
will,
is completely damaged. Nobody's going to want to deal with him after
that's
all
it.
this.
So
He'll be
people are going to
walking
want
around
to,
with a cross on his back.
but yeah, people are going to want to kind of either stay away from him, but then also he'll, like you're saying, just for argument's sake, I'm saying if he didn't have people or the support of all these people that he was like doing these parties for, etc. Would he be the same person? I think he wouldn't. I think he'd want to disassociate with them as well. But then at the same time, they won't want to have anything to do with them because then they'll be like tarnished the same way. That okay, if he's doing it, and also you have to also remember, Jay-Z, for example, was the only person apart from his mum that could call him Sean. So that just speaks volumes that how close he was with Jay-Z. And it's like no one heard from him. I mean, I know
Yeah,
Beyonce
even
was
though
on tour.
Jay-Z said they were only acquaintances and not friends. Yeah.
But they were obviously they were best friends.
Oh,
Because
of
I mean
course.
he sat in the
Yeah.
James
There's
Corden car and said that Jay-Z was the only person that could ever call him Sean.
There's definitely
apart from his
no arguments to the closeness of these two. The fact that Jay-Z and Beyonce live 40 minutes away from Sean Atwood now should be testament.
Yeah, that's a worry. That's a worry.
That's like primo. Like, let's go down and visit like Sean Atwood, have a bottle of port, and end up in an Uber making terrible decisions. Like, that is awesome. That is legendary. So
Sean might be his next best friend.
Nah.
Sean
Well,
Atwood.
you got to remember, he's got
Like
civil
Diddy, I'm
cases
his friend.
still out there too.
Huh?
There's still civil cases out there.
Yep, correct.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's loads, isn't there? Still.
But also, if he, by some miracle, doesn't serve anywhere near any of the time that he should be serving, if he gets out fairly recent from now, nobody is going to want to go near him because they're going to know that there's something going on with the feds and all eyes are on them. Everyone.
Correct.
So they're not going to go anywhere near. Because
they want to continue their disassociation.
Yeah. I think that's what they'll do. I think they'll just keep
They
away
have
from
to
him.
save their own butts.
Because then that's it. Because there's gonna be a question mark over all these other people that are like with him, and then people will start saying, "Well, actually, you know what?"
And if he's given 10, 20 years, whatever it's going to be, for the sake of him trying to get out earlier, he's going to beg and plead the feds, hey,
Absolutely,
if I give these people up, will you give me less time? He's going to do anything it takes. He doesn't care anymore because he knows nobody backed him up. Nobody came to his aid.
Oh yeah, listen. Like if he gets out, if Diddy gets out, every single person that didn't step up to help him, the only person that's going to get a pat on the head is Justin Bieber. He's going to get a big pat on the head on Justin Bieber and say, thank you for shutting up.
They're not saying anything. Yeah, that's a bit of a worry.
It's
To be fair, I think there would. I actually did think that there would be more people. There would be like people like Justin Bieber. You know, those that were kind of abused. I thought there would be like a few of them on the stand, but there never was.
But you've
And
seen
there was
how
just
it
his
play
girlfriends.
out. Hang on, Pam. You've seen it how it's panned out when it came out that the trial was starting and everything. Justin Bieber literally went from a healthy, glowing, happy young lad to a skeleton of himself.
Oh, but yeah, everybody
Having
saw that.
issues with his family and everything else.
Yeah.
At the sheer weight of all of this.
And when you think about it, and when
hang on, Pam. They can't risk getting a witness to come on the stand who's taken such a visible and noticeable decline in their health without being involved on it.
But
they
I
would
don't
fall
think
to
he would have.
pieces in the stand. On the stand,
Yeah.
they wouldn't be able to take it.
But I don't
So
think
it
he would have
do
said
more harm
anything
than good.
anyway. Cheyenne,
But
I
it'd
don't
done
think he
more
would have
harm
said
than good
anything anyway. I really don't think he would have said anything regardless.
Yeah, if he's dragged into court, he would have had to have said something, Pam. You can't.
Yeah, he
like,
would. You can't just say, sorry, I don't want
Yeah, but
it.
how is
sorry,
it?
I don't
But then
want
if
it,
that's
right?
the case, then, you know, there's so many people that would have seen things. Why didn't they?
That's the big
get
thing. I
those
think
people on the
that has to be our hope at what you guys
Yeah.
were saying earlier, that this is maybe
Yeah.
leading on to something else, onto
Yeah,
other charges,
it's
maybe.
definitely moving
Who
on.
knows? Who knows? Well, listen, ladies, we've only got about 5 minutes left, so I just want to say to you is thank you so much for the updates. We'll be back, like I said, we'll be back with the show tomorrow, so we can carry on with Diddy tomorrow after the main topic as well. Certainly isn't the end of the Diddy discussion, and it certainly isn't the end of the wonderful ladies who've been doing all this wonderful research. But we are coming to the end of the show today. So,
well, in just over an hour, we're going to know whether or not he gets out.
Oh,
until
snap.
sentencing.
Well, look, we are live in less than an hour with Lionel and Sean Atwood on Diddy, on the verdict. So make sure you tune in then. Make sure you guys stay up to date with all of that. When this live ends, you will be sort of shunted over to the next live stream. I'll be back at 8 o'clock with John Wedger, and very much looking forward to it all. And ladies and Uber, who was also here earlier, thank you so much. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much for coming in and doing all of this. So listen.
Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks,
well,
Ron.
look, ladies, we want to keep this going, so we need to find other stuff for you to research and be part of. And
Absolutely,
also, you can, even if you guys want to do, oh, well, you know, I want to do this one, but nobody else does, just do a little half-an-hour presentation on whatever, true crime, mysteries, conspiracies, whatever you guys have got the most interest in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ron.
Ron can't
Good
stand
idea.
looking at his own face. Okay, it needs dealt. What is going on? Stressful times. Okay, listen, we will see you guys. Sean will see you for the next live stream. I will see you at 8 o'clock, and I'll see you tomorrow. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. Please like and share. If you're watching on Twitter, you will not see my show on Twitter tomorrow. You need to come to the Sean Atwood channel. I need your support here. I don't need you on Twitter watching nothing. Okay, so get that into your head. Come over to the Sean Atwood channel, watch it here. If you don't mind. If that's a problem for you, well then dig your heels in and miss out. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.